Hi, David.
Oh, hey, Dana.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll. God, is he funny?
One of the good dudes out there. And, this is one of the first ones. He was not on SNL, but he did audition. And we're trying to get more into comics that are influenced and grew up on SNL.
Believe me, anyone who auditions for that show and doesn't get it, there's a story there.
Oh, they have something to talk about.
There's a story there.
Let's give him something to talk about.
Yeah, let's give him something to talk about.
Nick Kroll was, first of all, he does Big Mouth. That's a huge show. He's got his hands in so many things. It's hard to talk about how many he's done. But he's in Don't Worry, Darling, the most talked about movie of the summer.
Don't Worry, Darling?
That's the one.
Oh, he is. Okay, so he's everywhere. He's on Broadway with John Mulaney.
Yeah.
He's. I did a show with him at the Largo, and he interviewed me.
Oh, yeah?
And he's so likable and funny, and I don't know. I'm just a fan.
I like when I go, oh, yeah?
Well, yeah. I don't want to gush.
No,
But I do think SNL might have missed the boat, but I wasn't there. I wasn't a fly on the wall watching Nick Kroll do his magic, but...
sometimes they must
funny.
kick themselves because they do let a couple of winners go. And he's definitely great. He wrote for Chappelle's show. I saw a story about Don't Worry, Darling, and it was on Yahoo Sports. I'm like, I think everyone's covering this. All right, Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll. Hotels got expensive. The thing about Nick Kroll, which I really like, but some people don't. Hey, what?
I get. Look, I get
Nobody
it.
pops up like a Nick Kroll.
Well, I feel like I felt like I was a fly on the wall of your conversation.
Whoops.
What are we talking? The state? We talking estate tax?
I'm going to Arizona for the Super Bowl because I'm from there. And I feel like it would be a real, boost to the state in general if I went. And they'd be so excited.
Oh, you'll drop
because
money there. Yeah.
I'm one of the biggest stars from Arizona. It goes Hugh Downs.
He's great.
And then
he's funny.
Barkley.
Yeah,
Who?
Of course.
Charles Barkley played on the Suns there.
He played for the Suns, but he's not. Does he live there? He's got a residence
out
there.
San
right.
Francisco's got to clean up that stinky town. That's a stinky town. They got to clean
terrible.
that up. It's terrible. It's got that town stinks. They got to clean up San Francisco. Yeah, he's great.
Didn't he get? Did he get pulled over in Phoenix? Is that where he got pulled over? Do you know that story?
What happened? Did he say he's Elvis in this town?
No, I heard a story that he got pulled over in I want to say in Arizona speeding. Yeah. And they asked him what happened. He said he was going to get a blowjob.
The worst part was he was heading to my house. No, I was with him once. We were Bobby McGee's. What do you say, Danny?
I don't want to go blue on this podcast. It's supposed to be friendly and family friendly. Not anymore. Not with Kroll.
I was with Charles and we went to Bobby McGee's, which is an old place to go on Sundays where it's a couple toe tapper songs, playing a little Billy Ocean. And then we were going about 1,000 miles an hour on the way home. And I go, are you going to get pulled over? He goes, fuck that. I'm Elvis in this town. They're not going to do shit to me. And I was like, oh. And they didn't. And they didn't pull him over. And nobody cared.
Everyone loves him.
Is this when you guys were still working on your Twins reboot?
I would do it in a second with him. This movie was terrible. No, they go, you want to do the LIV tour, the golf tour? And he goes, yeah, throw money at me. I love it. He just voluntarily gets in trouble just because he'll go, yeah, I'll do anything for a lot of money. And everyone's like, what?
Oh, he was great about the live golf thing and all. They were after him and goes, if I got that kind of money, I'd stab my relatives. I'd stab a relative. That was it.
Does it frustrate you guys when someone like that, who's that physically talented as an athlete, is also genuinely funny? Like,
bugs the shit out of me.
The word is more
nobody should get a
infuriating,
twofer.
Right?
Nobody should get a twofer.
No.
I mean, we happen to be, we're essentially narcissists, David and I. So we're not really skilled at this, but we're having a lot of fun doing it. You can ask us questions too.
Yeah, too.
But anyway, you look fit. You look like you're...
Nick looks cool. And I thought, I took off my hat because Nick's hair looks cool. And I'm like, fuck that. Look at this hair, dude. I just got it.
I'm working on it. Well, can I ask a follow-up? Do you mind if I follow up with you guys about something?
This is a conversation.
Athletes?
We don't have to interview. Yeah.
Were you guys both there for the Nancy Kerrigan episode?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, watching it. Yeah, watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the the best performance of any SNL, I think, in my mind. That was probably the best performance of any person to come on the show.
Right. And
Nancy Kerrigan.
And did Farley play her or what? What
really
was
out of left field.
How was that?
No, I will say one of the best sketches was Farley skating with her.
Oh, right. Was that in that was that episode, right? I mean,
yeah.
Yes.
We had a lot of hype for that episode. She was a huge deal. And we got a huge rating, and the show was not that good. And that
even as like
happens.
I was like that was like at my prime. Like I was obsessed with comedy, just like getting super into it, and I remember that episode being so excited, and one of the first times being like, that was not a good episode.
Even as a kid.
You were like 13.
Yeah, I was 13. I was like, this is not a strong one.
Not a strong one. Is it? Yeah. Oh man, everyone only remembers the best stuff. No one ever remembers how many a night. By the time we got to update, like the whole first act sucked. And luckily we had Dennis Miller, the cleanup king, Christ's sakes, Good Carvey. Got a couple giggles with the lady. Okay. Always had this mouth wash spray.
Yeah, he had Banaka.
Was he a Banaka boy?
He always had a spray thing. He was always, at least on the surface, very relaxed. We'd be drenched in sweat with glue and wigs, and we're a Friday night late. He goes, the cat and I, his wife was a nickname. We're going to go watch The King and I down at the Orpheum. And he was in a nice suit. No, there's only one Dennis. He is one of my favorite voices to do. My IQ my vocabulary increases when I do Dennis. Because
it
of
is. I feel like I still remember when I think of my like many impressions. It's your impression of them. It's Topo Gigio. That's what I think of.
Topo Gigio.
Topo Gigio.
Topo Gigio. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. That is a perfect N word. If anyone listening wants to learn Dennis Miller. Christ's sakes, you see Eddie Saul the other night? The Topo Gigio cat. It's actually some mouse, okay? I need a marsupial talking to a man with a hunchback, all right?
He would say, what am I, Glico? And I go, after 15 years, I go, what's Glico? Who's Glico? But it just sounds funny. It's got a K in it. I don't know.
What is it? Did he know?
No, I didn't dig enough, but I do know that he says,
I don't remember him saying
Spudley.
Yeah.
He goes, what? Sometimes in my, because I opened for his black and white special. He had two specials. Rob Schneider opened for one. I opened for one because he was my favorite comic.
Rob Schneider.
Hey, let me get in there, Spade, and fucking hog the first one. So I go on the road with Dennis and just watch him crush every night. And then he goes, here's the 5 words I didn't know from this set. And then he goes, that one means nothing. Sometimes I throw one in just to throw off the fucking... the detectives in the crowd that are trying to fucking one-up me and tell their wife they know everything I say. I like to throw them a fucking curveball now and then.
Yeah.
So he says one that even he doesn't even know. He just makes it up, and then they stare at their wife, and the wife's like, what's that one? He's like, I don't know.
Well, I love when he does like a football player from 1954. I haven't seen movement like that since Nick Lucknick from the Detroit Lions, the
John Brockington
linebacker, who had 3 seasons before he blew out an MCL. Okay, Carvey.
Yeah, Nick. By the way,
sorry,
that Nancy Kerrigan
our
show.
Guest today is Nick Kroll.
No, it's okay. This is all it is anyway.
Yeah,
but
this is all it ever was.
I like this Nancy Kerrigan question because it wasn't even a question, but just the fact that it is hard. We did that with Dice Clay. We had a huge hype, and it just wasn't fucking clicking, and that's when everyone watches that don't normally watch,
right?
And when you're on
so
the show,
you feel this pressure, like, oh, we're gonna get new eyeballs, and then the episode is a stinker.
So you're watching SNL like at that early 90s, then is when it first emerged for you, and you're 12, 13, 14,
I'm watching it before then, really, but I am like at prime, like 91. I'm 13 years old, so I'm
perfect.
Like just aching for it, like one and obsessed, truly obsessed. And why, again, when you're I think it's that age really locks in, because you're 13, you don't have shit to do on a Saturday night. Like that's it. That's the plan, or at least I didn't.
Oh no, yeah, that's it. I mean, things affect you so much harder as a young adolescent than at any other time in your life.
So it was deep for me. And that Nancy Kerrigan thing was such a, I mean, it's so funny that you bring up Dice, because it's like as if they're both athletes. I mean, it's like,
but it was more like
Dice
stunt
is a
casting.
comedian. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Dice made sense.
What does does he come in like, let me tell you guys how this is gonna go? Is that
well?
Yeah,
he was kind of sweet. I mean, Nora Dunn chose to boycott that show, as you probably remember. So there was a huge controversy. I found him kind of sweet. He says, "Hey, thanks for being nice to me and Lovitz." I said, "I'll just go the opposite, find out who he is." But he was pretty funny. I go, "What do you get for a night? Stand up. You get $1 million." And he always said, "What am I going to do with $1 million?" As a way to say, "I'm getting more." What do you get for 2 nights? You get $2 million.
Who gets $1 million for one night?
What am I going to do? He was one of the first arena comedians for a while.
Right. Well, what he's going to do is buy a lot of weightlifting gloves. It turns out.
He translates that into gloves.
I saw him once at the West Side Comedy Store. Anyway, the comedy store they had at Westwood. So he comes up and he's in the whole thing. I'd never seen him. And then he does the cigarette thing around his head. He's hilarious. Like, for 3 minutes, he doesn't say a word. He was so charismatic. He does the thing, and then he goes, "I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you." And then Kennison followed him.
Well, but also, I feel like with Dice, the other thing was that it was like he could have gone 2 ways, because he also did like a Jerry Lewis, like there was 2 versions of Dice, right? Mm-hmm. The Gemini that we all know him to be, the two-sided man.
Yeah.
That he could have gone like, Fonzie or Jerry Lewis. And he chose Fonzie, I think probably closer to his heart.
And then his woman voice was really funny.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Dice. Here's one of my favorite jokes. He goes,
I'm sure Nick does it. Right?
Hey, he goes, "This chick blowing me and going up and down, knobbing my gob. And in the middle of it, I go, 'Come on.' And she goes, 'What's the hurry?' They're all the meekest, saddest women. 'What's the hurry, Dice?'
They're so delicate. And
he goes, "What's the hurry, Dice? You got a bus to catch?" I go, "No, you do."
I thought my favorite line of his, which we'll probably have to cut from the podcast. And a lot of these rich guys come out gay later in life, Hey, I got a mansion, I got a yacht, I got all this stuff. What don't I got? Oh, I know. Balls across the nose. It's so specific.
I like when he goes, "I dream a genie." Nick, I just have to do one more.
Let our guest speak.
Happy to be here.
I saw him at a gig and I go, "You're out of your fucking mind. Why am I trying to construct jokes?" He goes, "You ever seen I Dream a Genie?" And I'm in the audience nodding my head. And he goes, "She's in the kitchen with her big tits and she's like, 'Hey, master, is there anything I can do for you?' And he goes, 'Oh, no, genie, it's okay. You can go back in your butt.' If she was my genie, it would be a little different. 'Hey, master, is there anything I can do for you?' You know what, genie? There is. You can make your tongue 8 feet long and lick my dick from the kitchen." I go,
Our producer is laughing.
First performing, actually, some of my first performing I remember is weirdly doing Dice for we were on a family trip. When you're on a family trip and there's like a van, like the tour guide has a microphone, everybody's in a tour bus and there's so the tour guide was gone. It was just me and my family. And I took the microphone and just started doing Dice for my siblings. I'm like 11 years old. And I'm like, "Little boy blue, he needed the money." The nursery rhymes were.
Yeah, those were killed. Yeah. Those are the basis of the foundation of
it's
the
really
structure.
Like him and the Jerky Boys were the first version of like viral that I like, because we were passing around those Jerky Boys
pranks, phone calls for people. Oh my God. Yeah.
"Frank Rizzo, open your fucking ears, Jack." He goes, "I'll suck your dick like Souvlaki." Like My wife, she's got.
Did you ever do prank phone calls with all your voices?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to call me and Andrew Goldberg, who I created Big Mouth with when we were that age. He was my best. We would do.
Applause.
I mean, Dana, we used to host talent shows as Wayne and Garth.
Oh, wait, let me guess. Which were you? Probably
do you
Wayne.
Guess?
Probably
I was
Wayne.
I was in that moment the alpha of that.
Yeah.
Not that you weren't the alpha. Not that Garth
No,
wasn't
I was the
quietly
guy
alpha.
next to the guy, which is a great place to be.
Yeah, it was a great place. Looking back, I'm like, oh, that's the spot. That's the sweet spot. But we were just doing Wayne and Garth, but at like the talent show at my middle school. But we would also call WFAN, the sports radio in New York, and record them on a cassette tape and do them for each, and we would call up and, be like, I think Patrick Ewing should be playing point guard, and you'd start sort of slow and they'd be like, oh, okay, because he can see over the top. And meanwhile, little did we know that we were foreseeing what was going to happen with the NBA. And then we would get to, remember Andrew going one time, he's like, Anthony Mason, that's a very attractive man. I'd love to give him a bath in Jello. And they at that point is when they would cut us off.
We go as far as you can.
Yeah, we get to the edge, but we used to call all the time. Did you guys prank call radio stations at all? Was that a thing?
Recently, Adam Ray, I was on his podcast. He asked me to call a local Chinese restaurant as Paul McCartney ordering. And it was just completely straight, and they didn't know it was, I was doing like this, we like some egg rolls. If you got it, some fried rice, that sort of thing, because we enjoy it so much. But they didn't have any idea it was somebody trying. They just go, okay.
It could really be Paul McCartney. They don't care. They're like,
They don't care.
Okay.
They didn't
fucking
know.
done. Let's go.
Yeah. So Nancy Kerrigan, but what happened was
Nick Kroll.
No, Nick, let me tell you, Dana, a Nancy Kerrigan show, one of the funniest things is Farley's the skater, and I was excited because I was Scott Hamilton. And so we were
casting.
It was a good bit because Phil was maybe Vern Lundquist, and Phil, who's the master, and I got to sit right next to him.
Great
and we were
announcer.
doing our analysis. So Nancy Kerrigan's great. She literally has to do nothing in this sketch but skate well. And that was perfect because we're like, you're so funny in this. But she really didn't. She was great, but she didn't do anything. And Farley was surprisingly a good skater.
Yes.
So he's got a funny outfit. It's already funny. Mm-hmm. We're like, oh, it's going really well. They're racking up the points, And then he falls and he gets really pissed off. And we go, ooh, that's going to hurt him. And then they play Pump Up the Jam. We're like, pump up the jam. They will, Vern. Oh, this is a perfect triaxle. And then he starts wiping out so many times. And then he picks her up and throws her, and it's a dummy, and she flies.
I thought
so fucking
it
funny.
was a great sketch.
Oh, it was great. That one was great, and the rest of them were sort of crumbling around her. But it's not her fault. Athlete guests are tough.
No, but you can't when you're with Farley in a sketch and he's doing physical comedy.
Yeah.
You just support the brilliance of Chris.
Well, it's also like something like skating, which is not something that everybody can do. It really is. But I'm like, oh, right. He's like a Midwestern boy. He probably grew up playing hockey. And so it's like he, I remember that. I remember him flinging that. I remember flinging that dummy. Every once in a while, there's the good. Who you guys were gone by the time. Like Peyton Manning, I was always like surprised that I was like, oh, he's he could really carry a joke
and move funny for such a big guy. He was dancing, and I think it was Will.
We had I was on this show, The League. It was a show about fantasy football, and
Bobby Bottle Service.
Oh God, he was, and we had all the athletes on. They all came through that show.
Oh, that's right.
All the football players, and it was, remember JJ Watt, and I was like this, and you're like, some of them were whatever a little, but then some of them, you watch JJ Watt. He came in at the beginning of the week. He did one day. We were at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And then it was the week of the ESPYs, and he shot like 2 commercials and an ESPYs bit, and then came back at the end of the week for his last day. And by Friday, he was a markedly better actor. And you're
really?
These guys, these guys are so smart. They can learn that quick. You know what I mean? Like a guy like that over a week like learns how to act. And you're like, oh, that's why you're one of the reasons beyond being a physical, like you're physically, they took a regular person and 25%ed them up, like to scale. Yeah. I was like, this is why you're so good. You learn.
They can also get coached by a director, and then they get knowledge and implement it. And so it's like on the field. And if the director says, do it like this, they go through their computer head and go, got it. And then some can really adapt.
And they compete. They compete with each other. After the fact, or athletes will go, my SNL is better than yours, or, I did better than you. The one guy who peaked on air was Wayne Gretzky, who seemed very shy, very Canadian. And he's the one, we were doing a hockey sketch. I'd never been on skates in my life. And he's so Canadian nice. He got down on his knees and was lacing up my skates. And then Wayne Gretzky showed me how to hold the hockey stick.
Holy shit.
That was just ridiculous. But these athletes, there's a charisma to them,
I do remember that Elvis sketch from...
yes.
Was that Wayne Gretzky?
Wayne Gretzky Elvis sketch from that one, right? What was it? It was like
he was singing. There was some...
Was he on the beach?
Hawaii, yeah. It was like a Hawaii Elvis thing, right?
And he just hit it on air where all of a sudden he's super charismatic and confident. Just peaked on air.
I mean, it makes sense also. You're like, oh, right. The greatest fucking goal scorer of all time is going to like show up on the day.
Yeah. Be good. It's just instinctually. And Joe Montana.
All I had.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. You had Montana. Go ahead.
Montana wouldn't come out of his dressing room for a while because he didn't think he did well on the show. So it's like, could you go back and just say hello to Joe? I mean, that's how hard. And he did absolutely fine. And I caught a pass from Joe Montana in drag as a church lady. It was a thrill. But he wouldn't come out. He just felt bad, So they're so driven.
We had, I only had Michael Jordan, I think.
How was he?
Very
charismatic. The most, besides Mel Gibson in his prime, where the women on the show went crazy. Michael Jordan was the person. I mean, was it
charisma or just legend? Like, was
both.
He charismatic, or was it just like you understood that you were around this like phenom of
both? Yeah, I think we
understood it and he understood it.
Yes,
he
seems like he would have been sort of boundaried, like not warm, but I have no.
It was fun to break through that because there were so many people wanted his autograph and there were lines and there were issues, but I sat next to him and read through, and being around hands like that, like a triple hand. And he was always so competitive. He said to me, very seriously, he's towering over me, and he's Michael Jordan. He's a badass. And he goes, do you golf? And I go, well, a little bit. What do you shoot? I go, well, I'd be lucky to break 100. Long pause, staring at me, steely eyes. You're not very good, are you? It was kind of scary. But on the day of the show, I'll leave you with this. Live, we're behind the slats, and I could tell he's a little, I'd say for him, a little nervous maybe. And I said, if you get in trouble, just look at the card and read it off the card. That's no problem. Just read it off the card. Don't pretend. Just go right at the card. So you see people, and he did. But he had a great show. He has these guys have a lot of charisma, and you put them in a show, and you can't take your eyes off them.
Sure. I mean, but also I do think he seems like I could see him being, I thought he was going to turn to you during the read through and be like, I'm going to get more laughs than you this week.
Yeah, I don't know.
Carvey did well during that first sketch, and then it got personal. I feel like that was every line in The Last Dance. It was like,
well, yeah.
All I remember is him looking at that laptop and laughing. Like they'd show him a scene and he goes, fuck. You know what I mean? Yeah. They'd play something for him. This guy said this about you, and he goes, yeah, okay.
So Nick, can we just for a second, because this is what when I was watching all your stuff, and we did our thing at the Largo.
Yes, we did.
And you interviewed me and stuff, and I noticed how versatile and explosive you were. Like when you committed, it was like bam, like you were gone, and then this intense character whooshing. And your resume is so stout, it seems in a sense that you were made to be on Saturday Night Live. But there's a catch spot where maybe you got too big to be on it early or something, or what? How did you audition for it officially a few times? Or?
I did. I mean, I think I don't know. You guys have probably had, I mean, like, I think like everybody, it's like, if you are a comedian in, you know, anytime in it, like who was born anytime from like 1970 on, at some point you're like, I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live as a, you know, so that, yes, I had wanted it. And I, you know, did improv in college, moved to New York, started doing stand up and improv, and then started doing characters, like kind of like live presentational character work on stage. Not directly being like, I'm going to try to be on SNL, but it was like, I think that was with the sweet spot for me. And then I was on a show called Cavemen, the hit show Cavemen.
Oh, yes.
The Geico Cavemen commercial.
It's a famous show at this point.
Very famous show. We almost 7 episodes aired.
Hey, 7. I heard it was 7 months of makeup and then 1 hour taping.
Honestly, genuine. I mean, you guys have both been through the prosthetics. It's like it was 4 hours every morning. And it was, and we were in every scene. So it was 4 hours every morning for 4 months straight.
Motherfucker.
13 episodes, working 90-hour weeks or whatever it was. And I have intensely sensitive skin. And I think it traumatized my skin basically forever. So when it ended, it was right at the writer's strike in 2007. And
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, truly. It was, we got preempted for the Charlie Brown Christmas special. And I knew we were in trouble because the next week, or the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special, the week after, we were preempted for the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special. The week after Thanksgiving.
Can you refresh my memory about it for a second? Just
So Caveman was based on the Geico.
Yeah, I know
Caveman,
that part. But
I got cast. I was not in the commercials. I got cast on the show. I just had gone out to LA for my first pilot season. And I got cast on the show. I was like I was sort of the acerbic, you know, lefty caveman.
Did you go in and read for them like a classic situation?
I just
what voice
auditioned.
did you use? How did you?
Just me. It was like sort of, I was the sort of, it's this sort of I've gotten a lot of my gigs. It was sort of the deadpan, like, oh, really? You know, like, oh, really? Like, you know, people like, you know, the problem, everybody talks about like cavemen being these like, you know, Cro-Magnon, but in reality, I have a higher IQ than everyone I went to fucking Stanford with, or whatever that, you know, that sort of sarcastic, mean, dry. So that goes away, thank God.
And Nick, in every episode, you guys try to get insurance.
Well, it was so funny because
you got to work that in.
We go for our first, the TCAs, the big television critics thing.
Oh no,
they're coaching all of us. We're at the Beverly Wilshire. They're coaching all of us to be like, all right, everybody get ready. They're going to come after us that it's a Geico TV show. You can be very clear. We're not sponsored by Geico.
Right.
We own the rights to it. Like it's its own thing. We're all prepared, being coached for it. We get up on stage and they're immediately, all the critics are like, why did you make such a racist show? And we're like, what? We thought we were they were making this allegory that it was, you know, cavemen were a stand-in for all minorities, you know, that like we've gotten discriminated against, where this the critics did not see it as, and so we just got blindsided as like, your show is racist. And this is, I got to say, we were ahead of the game of being called racist for a TV show.
That's an early racist show.
Smart.
2008? 2007?
This is 2007. We're talking early. This is pre.
Wow.
You know, so
there wasn't even racism yet, was there?
No, there wasn't.
It was kind of racist as a show. I mean, a little bit. I mean, I want to.
I mean, I was involved, so clearly there was going to be racism in it. So that goes away. Then now I'm sort of a free agent again, and I started booking stuff. Like I was like, oh, I felt like I was gonna work, you know. Then I got a call. Me and Mulaney got a call the same day from Seth Meyers. I had met Seth in New York. He'd seen me do some character stuff, and Mulaney had also done some stuff. Seth had seen him around, and he wanted to invite us to audition. We were at that moment pitching a movie with Tracy Morgan that maybe one day we'll make. It was Mulaney and I had this idea for those Nigerian email scams, the Nigerian Prince email scams. This is the one time that it's real. So it's Tracy Morgan as Lil Mo, the deposed dictator from Lairobia.
That's funny.
A kind of a baby Doc Duvalier,
Labia.
kind of a ne'er-do-well. And kids, they get this email, most glorious friend, I have $20 million that must be. And then they, all of a sudden there's $20 million in the bank account, and Tracy Morgan shows up at their college being like, where's my money? And
Ted Sarandos, if you're listening.
Yeah. By the way, with you two writing a movie, everyone should just say yes. I don't have to hear the pitch.
You know, by the way, so we pitch it, we're with Tracy. I don't know if you know.
Oh, we know Tracy.
Yeah. You know, Tracy with his little hands. He's got those little hands resting on his belly. He's taking a nap at taking a little rest at 3 Arts. You know, in the middle of the pitch, in between pitches, and we go, Tracy, what's going on? He goes, I will not lead a life of quiet solitude. And we pitched him the movie, by the way, the first time we went to his apartment in New York, the one that burned down because a fish tank lit on fire. And we go to his...
the shark farted or something?
Yeah, the Rats of Nim, is that what it's called? Playing quietly in the corner. One of his movies a poster taped up of it. And he's taking us around to all of these are all predators. You know, he's got his shark tank and his eel tank.
Uh-huh.
And we pitched the movie, and we get a call that day being like, do you guys want to audition for SNL? And we were both obviously not together, but we were of course excited. And so then we spent a few days working on our audition in LA, and then flew to New York, and I went to audition. I go in. It was during the Olympics, so we weren't on the SNL stages. We were at the Conan stage, I guess, upstairs. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was the same year. It was me, Mulaney, Bobby Moynihan is the one who got it that year. Jordan Peele. Unfortunately, obviously, that was the end of his career.
God, it's too bad. So talented.
Hit a wall.
Yeah, Ellie Kemper, a bunch of other very talented, now successful folks.
All should have gone right on.
How did that work? It was like, did you get a number like you're up first, second, third?
It was one of you get in the room. It was a bigger number. I don't know. There was probably 20 of us or something.
And how many people
really?
in the audience, in the bleachers? Like,
well, we go, you get called in groups of 4, and then the rest of you are all waiting. So we get called in groups of 4. I get called in somewhere in the middle, and I'm waiting backstage. There's, a grip, one of the union guys backstage. He goes, "You going to do John Lovitz?" And I go, and I go, "I'm going to do Lyle Lovitz, the love child of John Lovitz and Lyle Lovitz." And he looks at me and goes, "Save it for the stage." And I'm like, Jesus,
what the
I'm getting fucking roasted before I get out there.
Who was it? Was that Bill Hader in a costume or something trying to sabotage you?
It was Bobby Van Rye.
So then they call me out. I get out there, and it's just Lorne.
Shut up.
And I'm like,
literally just Lorne?
It's just Lorne. And he goes, they're outside. I'm not going to do Lorne with you guys.
Go ahead. I do it badly, but I do it all day.
Okay. So he's like, they're all outside, and I'm like, what? I'm doing more. I'm leaning into the Canadian version of Lorne.
That's all right.
I'm not going to do the. So I go, they're outside. He goes, yeah, they're outside. I was like, are they out there talking about how great I am? And he's like, what? And I'm like,
no.
And then the stage manager comes over. He goes, I'm sorry, they're on a bathroom break. I shouldn't have pulled you out. So then I have to go back.
Fucking stage manager.
They fucking iced me.
You.
And Lauren and I've just my first, I'm trying to. My instinct when I get nervous is to be falsely confident.
Yeah, right.
They're out there talking about how great. You know what I mean?
I got that.
Which is a funny thing to say.
Yeah,
I think in that moment, he wasn't a rude, but he also was like, you guys would know him better than me. I don't know what he's thinking, but he's not thinking like, you know what? I'm going to give this kid the laugh he needs right now.
That's so weird, Nick, that you go
Mike
out.
Shoemaker has diarrhea.
I'll be like Howard Stern. So you go out and half the people had left to go to the bathroom, and you just see Lorne, and then he goes, they're all outside, not explaining anything else. So you go, are they talking about how great I am? And then what happened?
And then they send me back. They send me back
into the wings.
After the wings to wait for another few minutes for everybody to file back in. And then I come back out and I do my audition, and my audition was good, not great. Like I know in my heart, like as much as I was a character guy, I just, I don't know. It just wasn't, it wasn't fire.
Well,
I just
it's
know
the roughest audience. You're getting no feedback because I did one.
How was your Lovitz?
Oh,
I didn't do Lovitz.
Lauren would have liked that. But that's hard to land that because it's an oil painting, right? Maybe a couple little giggles. You go. What was your biggest bit at that time? Your biggest surefire character?
Your go-to.
I was doing. I don't know if I had Bobby Bottle Service yet. I was doing. My character that I was doing a lot that I would probably not do now anymore was a character named Fabrice. He was the craft services coordinator for That's So Raven. And he was sort of like, if it was like a sort of like, definitely a character I would not start doing now, which was a queer Latino, like those kids in New York. Mm-hmm. Like I'd see on the subway who were just like tough as nails, young, like queer kids of color who were just, I was like, nobody is sharper or funnier or meaner than these kids. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Those, like, if you saw if you saw them walking down the street, they're like, oh no, they're going to make fun of my hair. They're going to make fun of me. And they're going to, he was my like filterless character. I could say anything about anyone. It was my closest to being David Spade that I could be. But I had to hide behind this character. So I did that. I had a few other characters. I was doing some version of Gil Faizon from that me and Mulaney were doing with Oh Hello. My Upper West Side, middle-aged, or septuagenarian. I was doing Holiday Connick Jr. It was a Harry Connick Jr. just doing holiday songs. I don't even remember a few other ones. It was, I was fine. It was
like them.
I've always been I'm a kind of guy you gotta like. I was like, if you put me on, there's no way I could have told Lauren if I was just like, the audition's gonna be fine, but just put me on. You know what I mean?
Just put me on the show.
Just put me on the show. It'll be fine. So, but I at that point was really a performer. John auditioned and got cast as a writer, but had made it clear I would write. I was not putting myself out there to write. But I knew it was going to be okay. Like I was like, I think I felt at that point secure that I was going to have a career, but it was the lifelong dream was to be on SNL. It still is. I mean, I had my own sketch show on Comedy Central, and there was a part of me that if Lauren came to me being like, leave the sketch show, come be on Saturday Night Live as like a featured player, I would have done it. You know what I mean? It was that. Right. It holds that power and mystique for me still. And then John got hired. And so then I sort of, and then I had other friends getting hired around then. And I started to become friends. I shot a movie with Forte and Sudeikis the next year, called A Good Old Fashioned Orgy. And then, through that and, Jesse Klein, who Spade, Jesse had gotten hired to be on your show on Comedy Central,
the Showbiz show,
the Showbiz show, and she got hired there as well, and all my, so my audition was, it's one of those things. It's just like, I mean, I'm sure you guys have talked to everybody who's, I don't know. Does everybody have had dreams of being on the show?
It's whimsical, and there's a lot of inputs into that moment. How was Lauren feeling? Did someone say something sarcastic? What's the mood? What's the vibe? And
what did they need?
What did they need at the time? And
they had at that,
maybe.
At that point they had Armisen, Seth, Hader, Sandberg, Sudeikis. I mean, let alone Forte.
So were they trying to add another male cast member or looking for women?
They needed, I mean, they hired Bobby Moynihan, frankly, as Bobby would say, they needed a big guy. They needed a big boy.
Yeah, that's true.
And every version of me was there. So I was not like, I knew, and maybe, I don't know if you guys like manifest or don't, like I'm pretty like, I don't think like that. I'm not like, today I'm going to be a cast on Saturday Night Live. You know what I mean? It just was like, I was like, oh, they don't need me right now. Maybe
well, that's like a gut thing. It might just be true. You realize they've got, like you said, if they have every version of what you do, they're like, God, it is another person, but sometimes there's just too many. And they go, maybe we'll use them next year, which doesn't help you. I have a question, two questions.
Yes.
One is, do you get a time limit? Does everyone say you can do whatever you want in 6 minutes?
Yes.
Or does...
I remember it being, I want to say it was 5 minutes. And I think we were pretty orthodox about that time limit.
Well, because
it was
if there's 20, that would be... I've only been to this comedy clubs. I think we went to see Louis C.K. and we rolled in. And we rolled in a little late. And the worst part is everyone's like at dinner, and on the opposite side of the people coming in behind Lauren to watch you, they're just like, hey, let's go to Huxley's later. Oh, we're going to watch a couple of these guys. It's literally nothing to them almost. You know what I mean? It's so... And then they roll in just half thinking, half like, oh, yeah, these are auditions, and your whole month is studying for this. That's truly scary. And when you don't get... I'm sorry, go ahead, Nick.
No, go ahead, please.
When you don't get something like that, is there any weirdness that you have to have? Does Seth call you, or does he say sorry, or...
I remember getting a call, I think, from my agents and finding out that I didn't get it, and then I think that John was getting hired as a writer. And, with all of your comedy buddies, especially John, who I've known since college. We did improv together in college. He was a freshman when I was a senior, and I always knew he was the funniest person from then on. And I was so happy for him, but you couldn't help but feel some tinge of jealousy or envy. And as I did for his whole run on SNL, like, couldn't be happier, more proud of him, and simultaneously like feeling like he had been invited into the club that I was not. And that even though I have always felt incredibly welcomed by literally everyone there, like including Lauren, has always been very nice to me. It's like I've always felt like not uncomfortable in that space. You know what I mean? I never felt that, I think there are people who are like, oh, I didn't get it. And then I never felt like I was welcome. Like I just always knew everyone there. And I felt like it just happened that I was not one of the people that got it,
Well, I auditioned with Jim Carrey and he didn't get it. And he went out there and levitated the room and put his foot behind his thing and all these impressions. And Phil and I were backstage going, well, okay, Jim's on it, And so, so for whatever reason, and then the great thing is you have so much stuff out there. I mean, your resume is huge.
No, it ultimately, and I went and did the league, and then I had my own sketch show.
The league is famous now. I mean, it's like got a cult following.
And my sketch show was my thing that was different than, what was different than anything I would have done at SNL, and I'm very proud of, but also it's just that, it's also changed over time. I think especially when you guys were on it, there were only so many venues that you had to, like, if you weren't on SNL,
there's nothing.
There's nothing like to make you pop through unless you became like the biggest stand-up or whatever. By the time I was around, I was coming of age and all that. It was like you could have a sketch show on Comedy Central. You could get on the Daily Show. You could you could even start to be on internet videos that started to, like, Donald Glover gets on like a sketch that blows up, and all of a sudden on not even on YouTube, and then all of a sudden there all of a sudden it didn't feel like, oh no, if you don't get SNL, that's that, you're going to toil.
No. And for people who are listening, they're just getting acquainted with Nick Kroll. Check out The Kroll Show and The League. And you've done all this animation, and just touching on this briefly, but Big Mouth is a smash, let's face it.
Yeah.
Which is about...
It's bigger than the show Smash.
It's bigger than the show Smash. Ted Sarandos will not stop talking about it when we have dinner with him. When we first started with Big Mouth, Nick Kroll, he's a friend of mine. I have his number. Do you want to see it? But that you've done so many and stand-up specials. So I guess for a second, you have a new one coming out. This is kind of interesting.
Yes. It's my first special. I did a special for Comedy Central before. It was kind of a backdoor pilot for Kroll Show called "Thank You, Very Cool." in like 2012. It was a mix of stand-up and characters. It was a hybrid special at the time, which functioned as a sort of Comedy Central being like, oh, okay, let's give him, I got a sketch show out of it. And then, but it's my first special in 10 or more years. It's called Little Big Boy for Netflix. And
how did you warm up for it then? What did you tour? Did you just go to the Largo every night, or what? How did you work on it?
I had been doing stand-up kind of as I wouldn't call it a hobby. I always had 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, you're not touring, but you always have 20 minutes. Yeah. Like I could always go to Largo and do someone's show, or, Oddball. There was that big tour, Oddball. And
did you do the Oddball tour?
I did it one year with me, Aziz, Schumer, Mulaney did
it.
Jezelnik. It was a bunch of excuse me.
Was that fun? That sounded like kind of a fun
It was
tour.
fun.
That's a good show.
Because I was not in talk about arenas. It was all those outdoor sheds. It was like those 12,000, 15,000 seaters.
Whoa.
I mean, you could have done arenas. It's so funny. It'd probably be easier. Sometimes outdoors are tough when I do them.
It was, and we were all, and they were flying us on all of us on a plane together. It was super.
Ooh, that was fun.
And that was still at a time when that was new to me, and I was with my contemporaries. Those are all the people like, Amy and Aziz and Mulaney and I and Jezelnik. We were all doing not open mics together. I mean, some of them I was doing, we were all started together so that we were all of a sudden playing these massive venues together. So, but I always had like 20, but I was sort of like, and around 2018, my girlfriend was like, she was like, why don't you do an hour? And I was like, I'm not the hour guy. It's like, that's Ali, Ali Wong or Mulaney or the guy, the Jezelnik. Those are the stand-ups. Like they're stand-ups. That's what they do. That's who they are. I do stand-up because I like to do it. But I got other shit I got to do. I've always been lucky to be working as an actor or writing, producing. So, and then I was sort of like, you know what? I don't have a good reason for this. And I kind of was like, you know what? I'm going to commit to it. And so 2019, I assembled all the stuff those 20 minutes and started building it, built the hour and then toured it, properly did a real tour, and then did Australia, New Zealand, London, came back.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Top of 2020 and was like, all right, I'm going to shoot it in June 2020. And then, I don't know, do you guys remember
the pandemic?
Yes,
COVID?
That's what it was. That's what it's called. And it shut it all down. And the special, the tour was called Middle-Aged Boy. It was all about me. Am I a man or a boy? Kind of, I'm 40. At that point, I was 41. I hadn't gotten married, hadn't had kids, hadn't figured anything out. And then the pandemic happened, and then I ended up marrying my girlfriend, having a baby with my girlfriend. And so when the world opened up again, all of that material then.
Oh no! Wow,
ruined.
It's so hard to come up with material.
Yeah,
well, that's why I don't get married. I want to do my act forever.
Yeah. So, but it ended up informing the act, and it became about this larger thing. And so then I toured it the last year, kind of picking and popping in and doing a weekend in Texas, of Phoenix, and then I shot it at the Warner Theater in DC in June, and now it comes out on September 27th.
So can I ask you? Sorry to interrupt, but
no, please.
So here you are. You're so accomplished. You've done all this stuff, and Oh Hello show with Mulaney and everything, and so now you're doing this special. And so what was it about it that you wanted to achieve? Like, are there moments of it you go, wow, this is really a next level of stand-up? Or did you feel you hit some areas you hadn't done before, more vulnerable, or anything like that?
Yeah. I think what I learned, the lesson I got out of Big Mouth, which, it's this animated show about me and my buddy Andrew Goldberg I mentioned earlier, going through puberty. So it was 13-year-olds, and we were one of the first things on Netflix after animated shows, after BoJack, and they really wanted us to go for it. It's super dirty, incredibly dirty,
and
but also very,
at the same time.
very emotional. It's a very honest and I.
Who plays your pubic hairs? Or there's
Jack McBrayer and Craig Robinson are my pubes.
Yeah, got it. Okay, just for people to know.
I don't know if I read for that.
You did.
You lived it.
You sent us some pubic hair. I thought which was very
Garth
kind
just
of you.
I didn't
pubes.
understand the audition. I go, here's
No.
my pubes.
That was
Yeah.
in
If
Wayne's,
you like it, I'll
Wayne's
come
World
in.
too. I was 38. I opened the script, and Wayne goes, "Garth just got pubes." I'm 38. I go to Mike. I go, "What?" Okay, but anyway.
Yeah.
So back to you, Nick. So what did you try to? How did you feel
So
about it?
but the lesson I learned from Big Mouth, because what I found was I got rewarded from people, audiences being like feedback was like, it's so vulnerable. You being so vulnerable, and out of that vulnerability came some real, I think, both very funny but also very emotional stuff. And I think Dana, this, and
David
I think we all
does.
have, like, as a comedian, you have you figure out how to have be funny and protect yourself. David, I know you're always very open, and you're never
Self-deprecating.
protecting yourself.
Yeah.
You're very
Thank you,
vulnerable on
Mhm.
stage.
Yes.
But I think when you're a character guy, you got your characters. You get to say everything you could never say as yourself through your characters.
Mhm.
The wall. We find a way to have our walls up to protect ourselves, I think. And I realized with Big Mouth, the more vulnerable I was, the more I was finding gratification in being honest and transparent about stuff. And some of my favorite stand-ups are the ones who figure out how to share some version of themselves that they're not, that feels real to an audience.
Well, what
Tricky.
was an area you went to that kind of exposed that? You can do it. Not you don't have to do it like in a funny way, but just the subject.
I mean, I started, like, I have a premise in there of, like, there's a bunch of stuff. I ended up telling a story about getting my breakup. I got dumped like 10 years ago, and there's a story that didn't make the special that inspired it, which was like I'd gotten dumped, and then
How did you get dumped? Text?
we went to a wedding together, and then came home from the wedding, and
She was the one getting married. And you go, hey.
yeah,
That was the first clue.
Dude, that was the first clue. She was marrying another man, and she wanted me to be the ring bearer in, like, a little doily dress, and so I felt frankly, I felt a little emasculated. But she just done. The whole joke is, I mean, it's true. Is she says, "I'm just not attracted to you."
That's a
which
rough
led
one.
to it was
That's a rough one. Yeah.
it was a rough one. I talk about this story. I won't do the bit, but it's, does anyone look in the mirror and feel good about what they see? I ask the audience, and I just sort of start to go into, whatever the insecurities that I feel about myself, what the inner voice that now in the special is Jason Statham. For some reason, the voice that I hear when I look in
So
the
your
mirror is-
alter ego talking to you talks like Jason.
Look at you. Look at you.
That's really good.
Do more of that for a second. I
Yeah,
love
can
it.
you do the whole special real quick? Just 1
yeah,
hour.
of course. Well, we'll just release it on the podcast. So,
Ooh.
Look at you, red rashy.
So he's just putting you down like crazy. That's a great premise
fucking
with
crushing
that voice.
crushing me.
So that's funny.
I
as
just
hell.
love Jathan's statement. I never hear anyone
That's
do that.
funny
Yeah, it was-
and real. Yeah.
Look,
Jimmy,
let me hear
what's his name?
More Jason. What do you guys want to talk about?
What would Jason say about our Fly on the Wall podcast?
I love it. I love getting the inside scoop on a show I never gave a fuck about. For me, it begins and ends with Benny Hill. I was the little old man on Benny Hill.
So you
Go ahead.
All right, now I'm getting mad
you
about
have that
it. Okay.
skill set of when you do the character, then you can write as the character in real time.
much easier.
Yeah.
That's hard.
So
though.
you
It's
can
hard
For
write
me
by
and you,
doing
you too,
improv.
Dana, right? I mean, it's much easier to write as the character.
Yes, definitely. But I noticed that
very
with you,
much.
too.
It's filterless. I'm able to enter a flow state,
Yeah.
if I may say something that terribly new age, is when I get into character. If I'm really in it in character, the filter is removed and I can sort of
Yes.
go and say
That's
anything.
fun.
I believe it's a mild form of self-hypnosis. If you're in a car with friends for hours and you're just, this stuff is coming out of you where you're not even thinking in a character, it's a very exciting place to be. That's really funny. So the special, Little Big Boy.
Yeah. So the special is much more vulnerable, much more honest. than I've been as myself. It was really like, because I used to do the show, my stand-up would always be like a way to get into characters, you know?
Mhm.
And then, so this was, you know, an attempt to do something, and I wanted to just do it. I wanted to be like, no, I'll put myself up here and just, you know, like I'll put myself up and you know, and so we did it.
Well,
So-
Lorne Michaels would say you have a lot of goodwill. In other words, your audience loves you, so they're going to go with it. But did you like the way, without throwing anyone under the bus, the way it was shot, the way it felt, the way you looked at it? Was it hard to edit it, or did you like the vibe?
Watch yourself.
Because it's hard to shoot a special with the lighting, the audience, and how many shows did you do?
It's always your least favorite show. I don't know if you guys have had this.
Yeah.
It's always your least
worst
favorite show of the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. And luckily I saved DC. DC's a great comedy, in my mind, a great comedy town.
I played there.
They're smart, but they're not like jaded like New York or LA.
Mhm.
I had been the truth is I had just come off of Mel Brooks asked me to do History of the World Part 2 as a sketch show for Hulu. So
What?
yeah, so we just wrapped that before I shot. So it's me. I brought in Wanda Sykes to produce it and star in as well, and Ike Barinholtz and his writing partner Dave Stassen, and then we gathered a bunch of people to be in it.
Damn! Did
we
you
wanted-
did you
We
know
wanted
him?
Dana. We had. I don't know if you know this. We asked you to be Howard Cosell in a bit.
That never got to me. I would have done it.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Right,
And down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
We got of course the next choice, of course, David Duchovny, who's actually was a very funny.
Love David Duchovny.
Yeah, he's great.
is
but
funny.
we went so
God, that's
we shot
awesome.
it as a series, as an 8-episode series for Hulu, and so we had shot that. I'd forgot what it was like to make a sketch show. It's so fucking exhausting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so we shot that, and then I basically had to run right into shooting the special. So I was just, frankly, I didn't have enough time or energy to be too.
That's good.
I just sort of, in a good way, I was sort of like, I did as many shows as I could leading up to it. Some of them good, some of them bad, just to remember the show. And then,
Of course.
my
And then you go,
buddy
just
Bill-
make sure you tell your people, make sure the one I tape is the fucking worst one. And they go, okay, we'll figure out how to do that.
No
Well,
worries.
make sure they have the cowboy shot at all times, because with mine they forgot to do the Carson, the classic talk show host shot, like
Really?
upper thigh. So it was just either head to toe or kind of chest or
Close
neck
up of his eyes.
Yeah, it took me 2 weeks to get it even watchable, because everyone has a 60-inch, 8K. And then my face at, way after the age of 60, just right in your living room, and things are popping
They're
out
like,
you wouldn't
holy
believe.
shit.
But it sounds like you're so big. Did Mel Brooks, did you know him before this, or did you get his, hey, it's Mel Brooks calling. How are you, kid?
Hi, yes, hello, hi.
No, he actually
too.
came and saw Oh Hello.
Oh, so he must have loved
I had
you,
a meeting with him.
Okay.
Me and Mulaney had a meeting with him, and he gave us a box of Raisinets when we left.
Jeez.
And he he
Thank
came
you.
to see Oh Hello, and then I saw him present Blazing Saddles at Radio City. He had met him a few times, and
Wow.
Did they win a Golden Fart Award?
did it?
I'll take it out. I'll take it out.
Take
No,
it
no,
out.
He and that, I mean, for me, it's SNL and Mel Brooks. Frankly, there's nothing
Yeah.
more. There's nothing, and when I look at there's nothing more impactful. And like the producers, Blazing Saddles,
Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein, and History of the World were massive for me.
Oh, yeah.
And I know those movies by heart.
Yeah.
And the producers ended up being for me, the biggest one for a long period of time in my life. That the Gene Wilder, Max Bialy, Gene Wilder, Zero Mostel relationship. It's like, I can't tell you how. So
Yeah.
having him come to us was
That's
massive.
awesome. So the
Wow.
special is kind of like a throwaway at that point. But
I'm like,
that's a
who
good way to
fucking
do a
cares?
special. Who cares?
It was. It didn't allow you to think too much about it. But with the specials, like you watch it. I have to watch it a few times just to look at my fucking ugly face before I can give notes on
Yeah.
the you know what I mean? You just watch it and you're like, All I can
Pull
see is my hairline and my double chin. That's all I see.
Well,
the first.
I can't. If I go on a show and I feel like I should look at it, I put a iPad like 8 feet away from me, and then I'll watch it like from 8 feet away, because I don't need to know what I look like at this point in life. So,
but that's
be
what it's like.
reminded.
What are we doing?
Why do we care?
Nobody's watching
I'm
us
not
to look at
Raquel
what
Welch.
we fucking look alike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
cares. But the comedians,
we're more vain than the Brad
I
Pitts.
know.
Yeah, and then one person says you look good on, you go, really? So gross. I know I did.
Hey, look,
Because
Yeah,
I
right?
only had one person say it. But when I did my Nick, they go, I had my opener up there who does a good job, and I was like, in the back, we're kind of talking, and I finally stop and I go, listen, guys, what's that? And I go, exactly, nothing. Why isn't he getting laughs? And then I go, he's bombing? God damn. So I go up there to do it, and my first 10 minutes is work. And when you're up there and you're after your second joke, in my head, all I think is, this is my special,
Yeah.
and I'm not doing well at my own show.
Yeah.
And so I go, gross. And then afterwards they go, you do know they all were required to wear N95s. I go, what? And they go,
Oh,
well,
my
they took their
God.
masks away and gave them the heavy duty ones they used to do drywall.
Jesus.
And I go, well, and then they go, and they had them face the other way just for precautionary reasons. And I go, well, so and they told them not to laugh. But other than that, it's
Your
just like a
special should
regular
have been
show.
called N95.
Oh my
David
God.
Spade's N95, but
So they go, we can of course put fake laughs in later, make it look like you did good. And I go, no, I did fine. I think and I don't want fake laughs because it's more for the people at home and stuff. So I go, just play it the way it is, and people like the jokes or they don't. But it was a little bit of a kick in the
But there's that
nutsack.
energy. There's just the feedback. From an
Yeah, and you want them to
audience
go
that is-
crazy where everything
I'm
works. And
fighting
they're
it
like,
too much. I should just come out as a church lady, open it up, do a quick change.
I'm fighting
no,
it
because
too much.
why am I fighting that? And then come out as Garth, and I should do a special. Just call it, what you really want to see.
The hits.
Yeah, and I'm always
Give him
doing
the,
character.
Dana Carvey, give him the hits.
Give me the hits, okay?
when Hall & Oates is there, they go, oh, you want to hear Rich Girl now? And everyone goes, yes.
The
Yeah.
thing
And they go,
about Nick
oh,
Kroll,
okay.
he's got a show called Big Mouth. With the kids, haven't got any pubes, and they're going around saying, "How are you? How's your pubes?" It's a very funny show. We love it.
I read for the butthole.
We
Anyway,
Thank you for sending us a picture of your butthole, by the way. Again,
I
you
said,
just need to
if
read
you need
it.
it.
here's my prediction for Nick Kroll.
Yes.
Before the 50th, which is 3 years
Whoa.
from now, and I think it
More.
could happen sooner.
More. Oh, the 50th.
50th
Okay, I was like, I'm not
anniversary of
50 yet.
SNL.
Yeah.
Before probably, but for sure before that, you will host SNL
Whoa.
That's very.
because
That's
it's a
a ballsy
critical
statement.
mass that you're at. And I think I
Yeah.
haven't seen your special, but all this stuff, all these years, it just seems like a natural thing. So
You
I
could
don't.
host
I
next
hope I
week,
didn't
no one
jinx
would
it
blink.
by saying that.
Yeah.
You're whatever.
Perfect
I mean,
fit.
it is a. Yeah, it's one of those things that is like. It would be very nice. It would be a real.
Would it scare the shit out of you or not?
No, I mean it would be scary because it's just so being on live like none
Yeah.
of that scares me, but the place doesn't scare me, but it's like
History.
I get more scared giving a toast at a wedding, a friend's wedding
that's
than I
scary.
do
Yeah.
than I do like going on stage for 1,500 people, like because it just feels more important.
I get scared
Like-
eating toast.
You really? You
Not
scared about the
really.
roof of your mouth? You know,
It was
you
too
might-
crunchy.
Here's me.
might-
Here's me. 10 minutes from now, calling Lorne Michaels. Yeah, we just had Nick Kroll on. He's so likable. He's so funny. I think you should really have him to host. Right. No, I'm kidding. We're big fans here, and I think he would be terrific.
I like when you want to redo your audition and have them go, we aren't starting. Everyone's in the bathroom. And you go, oh, you're going to hold it? And then it's just dead silence. And you go, I'll be on the wings. I'll be over there.
I wish I had
You
said
just
that.
relive different things you say that he doesn't laugh at.
Oh my god! I don't think there's a thing I can say that. Going back and playing that out. I don't know if there's a win for me on that.
You
one.
nailed it though, and it just didn't. I think he probably wasn't listening, and he's like, "What's
But it's
that?"
also I don't know what it was for you guys. You were in clubs. It's blinding light. Like I
Sick.
couldn't even see him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could just hear
it's a
the
horror
voice.
film.
It's a
I know, and you're up there jumping around like John Bonet and no one's laughing.
If you host the show, Nick, right before you come out, Lauren will be in the wings and will go, "They're all gone." And then just walk away.
The crowd?
Lauren will just say the same thing he said. Was that the thing he said?
I would be thrilled.
Nobody's here.
They're all gone.
They're all gone.
Dave, Spade, did you ever do John Bonet on the show?
John,
I dated her briefly right before before the murder. No, John Bonet was just always like a go-to funny in quotes reference.
It's
I
a
used
great
to have in my act. And everyone's like, what the fuck? But most of the time people would laugh at it. But I remember my first special, I go, John Bonet, I saw her in The Inquirer after it happened, and I go, she wasn't as hot without makeup. And everyone's like, excuse me? And I go, she was pretty. She wasn't a stunner. I mean, she had the basic fat bones. And I go, by the way, not super talented. She was good. Not a super talent. I think it was a lot of hype. And then everyone's like, wasn't she 5? And you're doing jokes about her? And I go, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, here's Michael J. Fox. Hey, Sarge. I'm sorry. Sorry, I just ripped my headphones out. Hey, Sarge. All right, we have to let Nick go because he's got 15 shows.
Nick, you're awesome. And
let this poor guy go.
So much
I
fun.
enjoy the show. I've enjoyed both of you in all of your forms
Nick.
for many, many years. So I am genuinely tickled and grateful to be on it with you guys. So thank you for having me.
Very cool.
All right, buddy. That's very nice.
Enjoyed
and we'll see you out there. And
See you
good
guys
luck with
probably
the
at the
special.
store.
I like this. I like to say this.
Store.
Hey, Nick, see you around campus.
Yeah, see you around campus. Hey, you know what? I like to go to. It's like my gym. That's where I go to work out. Yeah, I go to the store.
Yeah, remember.
I stand in the store in the hallway and I go, they go, what's up? I go, just running my new hour. I don't even have one. Just sounds cool.
It's always so competitive over there. I don't like playing those places. Everyone's
I'll
like,
see you guys on a weird Netflix as a joke Zoom cocktail party.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. I'll see you at Ted's house.
All right.
Okay, bye, Dana. Bye, Nick.
guys.
goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Adam, what's
Goodbye.
Hey, what's up, flies? What's up, fleas? What's up, people that listen? We want to hear from you and your dumb questions.
Questions, ask us anything. Anything you want.
You can email us at flyonthewall@cadence13.com.
You got questions. You got questions. Questions. You know, kind of like a Letterman.
We
thing.
get questions. Some are shitty.
Let's do it together. We get
Okay.
questions. 1, 2, 3.
We get questions.
Could have
Not
been
bad.
worse.
Could have been. Many listeners have written in about the goodbyes at the end. That's what we call them the good nights.
The good nights, and when you're backstage and it's like 11:28, you'll hear good cast for the good nights.
Didn't.
Cast for the good nights, and then you hear that music that's kind of like sad and weird and very
Yeah, it's like
melancholic.
dun.
Doon doon. It's over. It'll all be over soon.
Yeah.
Who fucking wrote that thing?
Probably Cheryl or GE.
Oh, Cheryl. I love and I love GE.
Okay, we didn't finish the question. The credits roll and the host, musical guest, the cast, we hug, chat on stage. Is it awkward? Any stories? Well, the first 2 years for me, I didn't want to be in the front because it looks too thirsty and embarrassing. So I'd run in the back with Adam and whoever. Farley would sort of eventually, within milliseconds, get to the front. And we'd always talk to each other and go, I go, Farley, are you going to run and hug Tom Hanks or are you going to climb on his shoulders because you're doing something obvious right in front of the camera? No. You are.
He's so shameless.
And then we would all just go, who's going to be the first one to squeeze up to the front and give him a hug or get stiffed? Where you go to hug him on camera and they turn over here to hug Kevin Neal and you go,
oh, Sinead O'Connor, what?
I know.
Yeah, I didn't want to be. It was kind of embarrassing. Here's the deal, show. It's Ross Perot. Here's the deal. We just did a show 90 years before, and we did the good nights. We did the pretend good nights
ones
at around 9:45.
Dress.
So you had your pretend good night, and then you have the real live from New York good night.
Yeah.
But you don't want to repeat your moves. But you didn't want to look too thirsty, so I would always step toward the back and then make my way to the front. So by the end, I'm front and center and just full face for everyone in America.
You know what you do? You play possum
hated it.
during dress and you go, I don't care. I'm going to be in the way back. And then on hair, I go, well, I was in the back so much on dress, maybe I'll just squeak up there.
Remember the time I went for a high five with you and you got me in a headlock?
Just for it's any way to get the camera.
That
on
never
me.
happened. But we
Sometimes I wave. I go, hey, Glenn Close, fist bump. Hey, Michael Keaton, give him a big hug.
Yeah, and you'd have kind of, if it was a shitty show and the host was scared and their eyes were real big and they were a little bit tipsy, they go, how was it? You know, and the camera's really tight on you and you could read your lips. Not the best. No, you'd always go, it's great and you're great.
Embarrassingly enough, if I was late in the show or I was pissed off, I would boycott the good nights.
Really?
And Marcy would be like, cigarette in the hallway. Where's Spade? Spade, good nights. And I go, no. And she's like, get the fuck out there. I'm like, no. She goes, oh, you think Lauren's going to give a shit if you don't go?
And why didn't you go out? Because you weren't in the show?
Yeah, because I was mad.
Because you're mad?
And I was like, I'm not part of the show. Why would I be up there?
Wow. To me, if I had a good church chat kill, maybe come back with a Wayne's World, a Hans in front, and maybe Grumpy Old Man at Update,
Jesus.
I'd be happy to say goodnight.
No shit.
But you would have, you know, what, bye-bye, you'd have kill with that. You'd kill with, and you kill with that, you kill with it. You should totally get it. You'd kill with that.
Yeah.
And then you were kind of a...
But if I would miss, I think I went 13 shows once without being in a sketch. Maybe I was on Update once or twice, but I was like, oh.
Really? But eventually when you crushed on the show, I remember Lauren saying, David, during good nights, he has a nose for the lens. He knows how to find the camera without...
This has been a podcast presentation of Cadence 13. Please listen, then rate, review, and follow all episodes. Available now for free wherever you get your podcast.
No joke, folks. Fly on the Wall has been a presentation of Cadence 13. Executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Chris Corcoran of Cadence 13, and Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment.
The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman with production and engineering support from Serena Regan and Chris Basil of Cadence 13. All right, this next little squid that is going to be on the show, Nick Swartzen, old buddy of mine. If you're in the Happy Madison universe, you would know him from Just Go With It, Benchwarmers. He was in Grown Ups 2.
Bucky Larson.
He was Bucky Larson. I'm trying to think of the other ones. He's in pretty much all of them peppered throughout. Also, Reno 911, he played Terry, the ice skating crazy character.
Yeah.
No, Terry, the roller skating. What'd I say?
Roller skating on Reno 911.
What a crack up.
Mm-hmm.
He can go to Comic-Cons the rest of his life just over that one.
Yeah.
So, very lovable guy, very funny. He's got a new special out, a new tour. He loves Saturday Night Live, grew up on All of Us, and wanted to talk to us. And we like talking to him. You had fun, Dana.
He's just one of those exceptionally likable, real people. He's been just incredibly funny in everything he's in for the last 25 years. So it's fun to catch up with him and talk to him. And he's going to be out on a tour next year called Toilet Head. Nick Larson. Nick Swartzen. I was thinking Bucky Larson. Nick Swartzen in Toilet Head coming to a theater near you next year. And his special is called Tell Joke from Face.
I think so, yeah.
on YouTube, and that's going to be out soon as well.
We hassle him about that. Very quick on his feet, always has been. Enjoy Nick Swartzen.
Well, I was just going over, seriously, who farted, Toilet Head, and certain other things. I thought, I want to get with the program. I don't want to be left out. Look at him. He does church lady and all that. He's afraid of anal material, bottom, some feces. I'll let you guys talk.
I'm not
That's all you're going to say the whole time.
I'm not allergic to diarrhea. Was that a special or is that just
what a burn?
That's gonna be on my tombstone.
Weird guy, but definitely wasn't allergic to diarrhea.
Anyway, we introduce you later. We record your intro, so that's why we just start talking. Some people go, do we have a start point? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
This is it. And you've been doing great. You're doing great, sweetie.
David, you look really good. You look like a Muppet that was dipped in diarrhea. Good Lord.
Welcome to it, Dana. This is my life. I hang out with this guy.
No,
this is it.
it's hysterical.
You guys, let's get down to business and talk politics.
Yeah, let's make
My ma-
half
my-
the country
my,
hate us.
my manager is Rob Schneider, and he really cues me in on what's up to date.
They're poisoning our water.
I remember when we were on tour with I don't know, Spade, if you remember this. We were I believe we were in Dallas, and Sandler got sick, and we had a big show in New Orleans the next day, and he had like a really bad like sinus infection. So I was like, oh, you should get a B12 and a cortisone shot. And Rob goes, no, green tea.
No,
He needs green tea. And I'm like, no, he has an infection. I go, I've seen this before. Like, he needs like science. And Rob's like, no.
Yeah, listen, I went to the University of TikTok. I know more than Rob. I remember, we were waiting like in the Dallas like lobby for everyone to bring their bags down to go to the next city on this middle of like a 9-day tour. And they're like, Adam's still not feeling good. He's not coming down. And we're like, oh wait. And Rock's like, I'm going to walk around. So we're all sitting there. We don't know what to do. And Nick suggests B12. Like typically, you get the doctor to come over and they give you a little Pink Floyd shot, when no one's looking, and you're like, I'm John Bonet now. Let's do this. And they kind of jack you up a little bit and you get through the show. But we had that all set up, and the doctor goes up, and then Rob ran up there after him. And we're like, Rob, do not. And he goes, that was a close one. He almost fixed him. He almost got the show going again. No, I said, this is a process. You squeeze a lemon, you take some magnesium. We were like, oh my God, canceled the show.
I had a guy who was obsessed with pomegranates. Pomegranates, man. It's literally for everything. It's a miracle. It's a miracle vegetable or whatever. Pomegranates.
I mean, I subscribe to that stuff, but it's like at a certain point, like Adam was really sick. It's like, a cortisone B12 shot would have fixed him immediately, or at least we could have done the show. We had to cancel the show.
Yeah,
but like green tea, like if you get shot by a gun, you're not going to pour green tea on your wound.
Well, yeah, he needed an IV. He needed water. You need hydration.
You need a smear of pomegranate.
Something that can kill bacteria.
Yeah, you need a pomegranate butt plug.
Or just. There you go. Yeah, I remember that whole tour.
Word, isn't it? Yeah.
Was Norm on that one?
Norm was not on the Dallas one. No.
Norm was on an earlier one, and Norm was actually the most fun in probably a group chat, because we have a group chat of everyone just ragging on each other.
Yeah, Norm always confused about everything. Yeah, what? What do you mean? What is it? Was it breakfast? Like, yeah, it's called breakfast. Just everything confusing.
Yeah, intentionally always doing a bit. Like every moment, it was just so funny. Like, what are we doing here? Is this called Zoom? Is that what they call it? Zoom? Yeah. Why do they call it Zoom? Where are we going? I'm still in my chair.
It's not going very fast. Why are we calling it Zoom?
We're doing a show in space.
In space?
What's going on here?
One time, Nick, we were on the same floor, usually, and
Norm is the great.
And Norm, I think I told this to Dana, but after the show, of course, the show turns into like we get there early, then we hang out in Adam's dressing room, which is like a palace, and then we go, we do the show, and it ends late, and then they find some restaurant that'll take us idiots to eat steak at midnight, so we do that. Everyone's wondering why they feel sick and gain 9 pounds in 4 days. So then we eat like scalloped potatoes at 2:30 in the morning. And then we go back to the room, and Norm goes, he's walking me to my room, and he goes, what are you going to do now? And I go, fall asleep within 14 seconds. And he goes, well, you want to come hang out? And I go, Norm, I actually sleep at night. I'm going to probably take a tub and go to bed. And he goes, why don't you just take a tub? I have a tub. I go, I'm going to come in your room and take a bath. He's like, we can just talk. I go, no, the optics aren't good, Norm. No, thank you. What? And the next day he goes, Spade wanted me to take a bath with him. That's what he says in the group chat. And I'm like, no, that's not what happened.
That's amazing. I love that. I remember one time, I think we were at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut casino, and we were backstage. And it was me and Norm. And then you guys, David, you and Rob were in Adam's dressing room. and Norm and I were in the hallway, and there's a security guard walking down the hallway towards us, and he had a gun. And I go, "Oh my God, Norm, that guy's got a gun." And Norm goes, "What? A gun? Oh my God." And he ran into Adam's dressing room. Do you remember this, David? And he goes,
No.
"Hey, there's a guy with a gun." And Adam goes, "What? The fuck?" And all you guys were like, "Oh my God, this guy with a gun." And I was like, "Oh, no, it's a security guard. It was a joke. I was just messing with Norm." And Norm goes, "No, but the guy's got a gun." And Adam got mad at me, and he goes, "What? That's a joke? That the guy has a gun?" I'm like, "I was just messing with Norm. I didn't think he was gonna run in and scream at everybody. I was just trying to mess with Norm."
Trouble.
Yeah, and I got reprimanded. And Norm goes,
he's like, go ahead. He works a word, you know. My favorite story, which we said before, I tell it shortly, but he's playing with Lovitz, some casino, and he's after the show where, "Hey, I need $800, you know. And John's like, no, you know, and finally wears it down. "All right, here you go, but pay me back tomorrow." And then Norm comes in. John goes, "Where's my money?" He goes, "I don't have it." And John gets really mad. He goes, "What are you getting mad for? I lost $8,000. You know, why are you mad at me?
You only lost 800.
You only lost 800.
What a battle of the most insane voices. Norm and Lovitz in a conversation. It's just drive anybody insane.
I told John that Lauren was kidding him. Norm was intentionally. Once John took a bite of this was like, "Well, I'm a better stand-up than you know, because I've been doing it longer, so I'm better. You're not a real stand-up." He would say that to John, and John would get super mad and, "Excuse me, what?" You know, angry. And then I said, "The more you react, and Norm's going to go work that." It's just so funny.
Oh, going back to diets and how we would eat late at night. It was so brutal. It's like David said, we would just get these horrible meat sweats. Like, I mean, Adam would eat steak at midnight. It was like insane. But I remember one time we were doing the Zohan, and I was at Adam's house. Yep. I was at Adam's house, and this is before he had his kids. And he was like all stressed out because he wasn't losing weight. He was like, "I keep gaining weight." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I go to his refrigerator. He had two huge refrigerators. One had food. The other one was just ice cream sandwiches. And I go, "What is this for?" And he goes, "I like ice cream sandwiches." And I go, "Well, when do you eat them?" And he goes, "Well, I wake up in the middle of the night and I'll have like 4. I'm like, "In the middle of the night, you have 4 ice cream and you're wondering why you're not losing weight? Like, what are you doing? What are you in kindergarten?"
What was the answer? Did he get rid of the ice cream sandwich?
He didn't put the math together. Yeah.
No, he got like a Navy SEAL to train him and punch him in the
are fun.
penis.
Nick and I've known Nick since the very, very old days. When did I first see you, Nick? It wasn't, I want to say Benchwarmers. It was before Benchwarmers, right?
The first time I ever met you, Dana, I don't know if you were there. It was at the Aspen Comedy Festival, and they had an SNL reunion in Aspen.
Oh, wow.
I was there.
At the HBO Comedy Festival.
Yeah.
Farley was there. And that was the first time I met you, David. I don't think you remember it. I remember we went out with Dave Becky.
Okay, I love Dave Becky. Yeah.
Yeah, and Dave, didn't he used to book you at like the San Diego Improv or something?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we went out, and you had just booked Just Shoot Me. And you were talking about it. We were walking around Aspen, you and me and Dave Becky. And you were like, "Yeah, I just booked a sitcom. It's on NBC. Is that a good network?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were super cocky.
Oh, is that good when it's the main best one? And then I'd walk up to other people and go, "Bye, guys." I go up to other 2 strangers and go, "Yeah, I guess I'm just going to do this new sitcom." And they're like, "Oh, hi, hello."
And you were like, bye-bye.
Hey, bye-bye. Oh, yeah, we should get into Nick that he has to be an SNL fan because he's a little twerp from Minnesota. You're up there struggling along, not fitting in, I'm guessing. And no one likes you, I'm guessing. And then you probably, when did you start on the old SNL train?
So we all started stand-up young, right? I started when I was 19. Yeah. You were how old, David?
I was 19.
Dana, you were how old?
Well, little asterisk here. There were no comedy clubs when I started. I mean, literally. So I I did do a set.
It was the
in,
Old West.
when I was 20. But then it'd be
with
months
Charlie
before another.
Chaplin. Who did you start with?
There was not a comedy scene. I mean, by the time 1980 came, I got out of college. They built a comedy club called the Punchline. But before that, it was just the Holy City Zoo. It was a bar, so you just didn't get a lot of sets. The train tracks were laid by the time you guys got there, so you start doing it, and you do 5 nights in a club. In my day, we didn't have comedy clubs.
A Dixie cup with a string.
I played a delicatessen, and that's true. I played a delicatessen. So while you're getting your
So you were a real ham at the delicatessen.
This guy's
That's a part of
that
my
one
special.
down.
Yeah.
You're like a ham. What you're doing a special?
Oh yeah,
What?
you did a special, right?
Yeah, I got a special coming out July 18th, and then I've got a whole new hour touring this fall, Toilet Head.
Oh, good. Well, we'll cut this part out. But what's the
So
special
wait a minute.
called?
I have a question. So you're gonna record the special. The special comes out, and then you're gonna tour. So you have a whole extra.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Well, can you tour with the special? You have to have new material, right?
No, I have a special coming out. It's already recorded.
Oh,
that
I
was
got
recorded
it.
last year, and now I've got a whole new hour for the fall, and I'll record that at the end of the year.
Wow,
we always talk
much.
about this.
How do you get
Dana.
an hour?
I don't know.
It's hard to get an hour. Yeah, how
it's
do you
the hardest
do it?
thing
It's
ever.
so tough.
But to answer your question, David, so when I started stand-up, I wasn't a big fan of stand-up. So I was a huge fan of SNL. So for me, my favorite years, I don't know if it's because just my time, but or my age, but the late 80s, early 90s, you guys' era, I think is hands down the best era ever. Because that cast was such a banger between you guys, Farley, Rock, Tim Meadows, Kevin Nealon, Phil Hartman. I mean, it was just insane.
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers.
Yeah.
I mean,
there was a coalesce. There was I agree that because you had the bad boys of comedy coming in, Rock and Spade and everybody, and then you still had Phil Hartman, myself, Mike Myers,
Jan Hooks,
Jan Hooks, and so it was sort of. I said when we interviewed Lauren, I said, "Didn't all the errors are good?" But I go, "But didn't you have a lot of weapons? You had Toots as the cat, or Sandler would sing a song, Mike would do sprockets. There was so many reoccurring characters." But anyway. Just because I was there doesn't mean it was the best. Whoops.
So many. I mean, it was crazy. One of my favorites. Who wrote Massive Head Wound Harry?
Oh, yeah.
That
was it Jack Handy? No.
No, different people worked on it, but I believe Rob Schneider was the
really?
Isn't that what Rob told us?
Oh my God!
Because Joe Biden wrote it. Rob said Joe Biden wrote it.
I asked Biden, "Did you write Massive Head Wound Harry?" He said, "Yeah, it was Harry. It was a massive, but there was a vibe." I agree. So you did write it. Well, that's how. Anyway, how to get canceled?
Who wrote Hunter the effeminate heterosexual?
That's a great Lyle, the effeminate heterosexual.
That was me. Had a hairdresser who was so effeminate. And he was completely straight. And so that essence came from then Smigel did the song, and then that was that. And I heard a rumor that it was Tim Burton's favorite sketch. I don't know if that's true. You hear weird things like Tim Burton.
That's so random.
I love sketches that have a little song up front. He's Lyle, I love that. Where the whole premise is completely right up front, and then you go right in.
That's right. No, here's the song that says the whole sketch, and then you just act it out. I don't think they do that as much anymore. Maybe they do.
So you're like a little kid. You're like an 8th grader or something. You're watching SNL, and your mind's blown. Whoops, too many weapons. And then how fanciful is it for you to go, I want to do that? I want to be a funny guy on TV.
Yeah, I was again, I started doing improv and I did sketches and stand-up. I just never thought anything about it. So my improv company folded, Comedy Sports. And so I was like, okay, I'll just try stand-up. So I went and I tried it and it went great. It wasn't my first time was awesome. And then it went all downhill. from there.
That's everyone says that. First one
The
works.
first
then
one was
you bomb,
good?
Then you bomb. Then you start collecting bombs.
Yeah, one of my favorite stories is when I first started, I got successful really quick when I was really young. I was 19 and I got the HBO Comedy Festival. For people that don't know, that was a
Ooh.
huge deal. So I was
Yeah.
a new face at 19 years old. I'd been doing stand-up for 6 months. And so long story short, I go to the Bay Area and I had all this heat on me. I'd signed with Dave Becky, who's a manager.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And this guy, John Fox, do you remember that name, Dana?
Know him, of course. He booked all of us up and down the coast, Seattle Underground.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, absolutely. Booked
Yeah.
a ton of clubs.
So
Yeah.
I go to the Bay Area and he booked me in Santa Cruz. I believe
Yes.
the club was the Crow's Nest, if that's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
So I fly into the Bay Area and he drives me personally to the gig. And he's like, he goes, you have a ton of heat on you. Everyone's talking about you. I'm really excited for you to do this room. I'm like, okay. He goes, I'm going to drive you personally. So it's like an hour and a half drive. And we're talking comedy the whole time. And he's talking about you, Dana. And he was like, you remind me of a Dana Carvey. He's like, he came in hot, young kid, just smoked the room, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I love Dana Carvey. He's one of my favorites. So anyway, long story short, we drive to the gig. I bomb so hard. Like it was one of my top bombs of all time.
Oh,
And then we had to drive home for an hour and a half, and he didn't talk to me the whole ride.
Oh my
So we went from
God.
being like all excited, and then I tank it, and it was just the most awkward. And I just kept thinking of, I am not Dana Carvey.
God.
Like,
man.
he just kept holding me up to the bar of Dana.
That was all an illusion. I mean, I did some sets, and then I happened to win a comedy competition, but then I bombed opening for bands and bombed all the time. I mean, you just bomb but you're more experimental, aren't you? This is how I'm supposed to do it. Were you just like going up with your energy the way I would perceive you? And if the crowd hooks it, then you're in.
Yeah.
But if they don't get it.
I had, when I started out, and I don't know if you guys were like this, but like starting out in stand-up, I was terrified of silence. So I was so physical and energetic because I didn't want any silence. Like I didn't want any kind of dead air. So I was just manic and crazy, just a crazy person. So like that made it even worse when you're bombing. So when you have like energy times 1,000 and the crowd's like, yeah, no.
Sometimes it's tough when you go up. You guys know that if I'm doing a corporate or anything, you can still bomb in this day and age. And I go up and I sometimes catch myself going, folks, if you're not buying the first 3 jokes, you're not going to buy the last. I mean, I don't change to southpaw in the middle. Like this is my sense of humor. If you're not really into it at the beginning, first 10 minutes, it's very rare to win them over, but you can trip into a bit that sort of clicks. And then they start to go, all right, we'll give you a chance. And then you do another one. And then that's the best feeling if you can turn them around. But it's kind of true. Like if they're not buying your whole vibe, it's just tough. They just like no sale.
Nick, did you in the early days at some point have a bit or a joke that was what I would call surefire? Like one that you could lean on? I had Jimmy Stewart as a waiter. That never didn't get a laugh. And I don't know if at some point you do have like the one bit that never, it's like Spade doing Tom Petty at some point. That always going to get a reaction. He had the hat. He looked like Tom Petty.
Closer? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hard to follow.
Funny face.
Yeah, mine, I would impersonate a cat vomiting.
That's already funny.
Yeah, so I would impersonate exactly like a cat vomiting, and that would always kill. That was one of my first go-tos.
You could actually say you're going to do that later in the act. Go, you guys, if you stick around, I'm going to do a cat vomiting. And it keeps getting a laugh and then just never do it because it's just funny anyway.
I love just stuff like that. Like abstract, just with no connection to reality or anything. Here's a cat vomiting. The idea of someone doing that makes me laugh.
Well, also like the big thing too is when you have a closing bit. Like that's so key. Like trying to find a really good closer. So, oh God, it's so stressful.
What's fun is when you move a bit from the middle of the act and you go, let me try to close with this. It's such a victory. You go, oh my God, I have a fucking closer. Like a bit you're just working on, you go, oh my God, it's so strong. I can put it at the end. And then you do a special and the grossest part is you got to rip it out of your fucking claws and go, nope, you don't have that crutch anymore. You're like, God dang, I finally got that one to work.
Yeah, it's the worst. I remember I used to open for David Cross, and we were doing the Houston Improv and or the Laugh Stop, sorry. And I was going to the bathroom. I was taking a pee in the bathroom. And I thought of a joke where I was like,
at the urinal or a toilet or how were you?
It was at the toilet, Jimmy. It was at the toilet.
No wonder it always killed. It's funny when I hear anyone do it. Just why somebody talking like that? All right, go ahead.
So I was like, I thought of a premise where I was like, God, what if I came as much as I peed? Like I peed for like a minute. I'm like, what if I orgasmed, came for a minute? And I told David that, and he was like, oh, you should tell that on stage. And I go, really? So I told it on stage, and it did well. And then I forgot about it. And then a decade later, I talked about it. I found it in one of my notebooks, and I was like, oh. And I did a whole, and it became my closer. 10 years later, I'd forgotten about it. And I randomly, it just said, come pee in my notebook. And then it became my closer on my Netflix special that I did.
I have come and pee on my notebook.
It is interesting when you keep. No, I don't know about. I keep massive pieces of paper around. I'm incredibly lazy, but I'm terrified of forgetting a joke. But you will go through it once in a while. I got big gobs over here, and you go, "Oh, that one. Why'd I stop doing that one?" It is fun when you go, "Oh, that bit'll work."
I look at mine, Dane, and it's like I put a joke like, yeah, last time I did that was when I was 12, and then in parentheses it says cross eyes here.
That's the funny part.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh right, I can't forget. That's the real killer part of that one. Like I give myself notes, my old jokes. I'm like, oh boy.
So what's your closer? What's your closer on this special? I don't want to give it away, but you did it off the grid. You did it yourself, right? Sorry, my computer does that. It's a little thing.
Yeah, I was like, what is that?
It's on YouTube, which is all the rage. Release it direct to consumer. Is that the idea, or was it?
Yeah, because I was talking to Hulu and Amazon and all these places, but they wanted to release it next year. So I've got my fall tour. So I was like, I'll just throw it on YouTube. Like I don't, you know what I mean? I'm not making any money. I'm just like, I want everyone to see it.
It's a promo. I mean? Even Schneider said, if I do another one, I don't even want to try to sell it to Netflix. I would just say, could you put it on? Just take it for free. And if not, I'll put it on YouTube, because you really just need a calling card of like, here's something, and you generate a little money from that. And then you push the tour. Like musicians, you probably make more when you go on the road. So you got to get people interested.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, you make money from touring. We're not all, Sandler and Rock and Chappelle, where it's like, here's Spade, $8 billion.
No. I mean, the new Netflix deals are, it's more just for the platform. But how did you film it then? You're in charge.
Look at Dana's thing.
The thumbs up is so weird.
It's so fucking funny.
There's people, something I clicked, and then balloons will come down sometimes.
Dana does
I didn't do anything with the computer.
A thumbs up pop up on the screen. It's so funny. And a balloon.
I don't know what makes it pop up.
Whitney did this, and balloons
I feel like
kept
it makes
falling
me feel
on
like
her.
I'm doing well.
Yeah,
like
you get thumbs up. You're like the audience. Look at how he's got fireworks.
Look, now I got fireworks from doing
so
that.
hot.
Let's stop again. People are hearing this.
Oh, you got it again. Your thumbs up.
No, but then the fireworks came for some reason.
It's funnier than the whole thing.
It looks like I'm jacking off. I'm going to
close with that.
Your orgasm is fireworks. That's amazing.
So where did you? I'm just curious about that.
I did the San Jose Improv, and these producers came and they offered to shoot it for me.
Yeah,
they were great.
450 seats, giant balcony.
Yeah, it's a great club. It's one of my favorites.
Great club. Yeah,
they fill it up.
I might even do my next one there.
Yeah, it's great over
or Minnesota.
I do think like that's like a small theater. It's a club, but it's like 450, so it's sort of like the perfect size to do comedy, to record comedy.
Yeah, it's great. It was awesome, and the crowds are awesome. I really loved it.
Yeah.
David, I don't know if you remember this. One of my favorite tour moments, speaking of Rob Schneider, we did Orlando, and he was mad about something.
Of course.
And
who stole my magnesium?
Yeah, and your intro, do you remember this? Rob goes on stage, and he was like, before he introduced you, he goes, let me just talk about the shooting at the gay nightclub.
Oh, at the Pulse nightclub?
Yeah, he goes,
oh my God.
Yeah, he goes, it was 1 year ago today that shooting happened. And the people in the crowd go, no, it was 6 months ago. It wasn't a year ago.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, it was
half a year.
It was 6. And they're like, yeah, no, it was 6 months. And he goes, and he looks on the side of the stage, and I'm standing next to a crew member.
Yeah.
And he goes, that asshole told me it was a year ago. This random guy, this crew member. And I'm standing next to him. The guy goes, I've never talked to Rob in my life. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Excellent. Goes, I remember that.
He goes, anyway, Joe Dirt. That was your intro.
To the angry crowd and sad
shooting.
Crowd. Hey, anyway, there was a big gay Rob, shooting. Here's David Spade, a big gay comic.
Yeah, it's like, what a weirdo.
I know.
Do you like group shows? Do you like group shows, Nick?
I love it because, I mean, David and I had talked about this. The Sandler tour was amazing, but it's hard doing 10 minutes. It's really hard. Like
in a big crowd.
I don't mind doing an hour. I mean, I love doing an hour, but it's like, it's a catch-22 because it's easy doing 10 minutes, but it's also hard, if that makes sense. But it's great being with my friends. Like, you know, the Sandler tour was amazing. I mean, those were my best friends and Norm, and, you know, it was just great.
Where was the show where you have that picture of me, you, and Adam back behind the stage as an outdoor event? It's a huge event.
That was in Minnesota.
Yeah, that was like 20,000 or something.
But that was the one where I kept telling Sandler, I go, we have to do Minnesota. It's my home state, my hometown. We have to do it. He's like, yeah. And then finally, like, he didn't do it. And then finally he did. And it sold out immediately. They had to add like 5,000 seats. It was like crazy.
You know, I did my last special in Minneapolis.
Yeah, you did the Pantages, right?
I don't look in the
past. You did a Cracker Barrel?
No, I don't know. Do you remember, Heather? What was it? It was a Cracker Barrel pop-up.
Yeah, it was Cracker Barrel pop-up.
Next to the freeway.
What's the theater?
Fireworks store.
Cracker Barrel. Let's do that. What's the theater that has 3 sides to it and goes straight up? It's like an amphitheater in Minneapolis. I played that a few times. I don't remember the name.
The Orpheum?
I do remember.
Was the State Theater, the Orpheum?
No, my next one is in
But
Denver,
I remember the
guys.
audience as being especially great in Minneapolis.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
They're fine.
That's why it was tricky, because like when I started, I did really well, like I said, out of the gate. I'd never bombed in Minnesota, like not even close. And
Good
then,
job.
then I
You're
moved
doing
to
great, sweetie.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Oh,
Good
the cat's
stuff.
vomiting.
Oh, that's
Oh,
fun.
he's vomiting on his own penis.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. But then when I moved to New York is when I really started bombing. Everybody told me it was the best advice I ever got. Nealon, actually, I opened for Nealon at the Mall of America. And he told me, I think I'm going to move to LA. And he was like, no. He's like, go to New York. I remember him, Judy Gold, another comedian.
Yeah.
Told me, go to New York. And I went to New York. And I would eat the hottest shit on planet Earth. I got booed off stage. It was like
it just
brutal.
to toughen you up and just go, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere kind of thing?
Yeah, basically it was like cut your teeth. Go to the Big Apple.
What would be a typical, here he is, Nick Swartzen. What would be a typical opener for you? Opening line or opening
You
bit?
look
I'm
young.
just curious why you look
about being
like
young?
a high school senior or whatever. And why would they boo you off? Did you go super blue then, or what was it?
No, because I was so clean. And I would have to get, you know, when you're starting out, any stage time, you just have to get whatever you can get. Yeah. So I would go on in the Village at like 1 a.m.
Oh,
and I'm following, Dave Attell and, Rock and guys like that. And I was just so clean. Like, they don't want to hear about a cat vomiting.
That's
like,
your clean material?
I'm following like 4 hours of like pussy jokes.
Yeah.
No pun intended. And then all of a sudden a pussy's vomiting. Yeah. See what I did
it's
there?
It's hard to follow a hyper confident East Coast comic just with almost like he's going to beat up the audience if they don't laugh. The fuck's up, New York? Following one of those guys.
Yeah, this fucking guy. Look at this guy in the front row. This queer. What are you, queer?
And now welcome Nick Swartzen. Hey everybody. Hi.
Hi, I had a hot dog.
You know what's weird? Mayonnaise. Yeah.
Why?
You ever put because you put it on your hot dog. Get it?
Boo.
Boo.
Get the fuck out of here.
Some people put ketchup, but I'm kind of off kilter. I put mayonnaise.
I put mustard on my butt.
Oh, that's really the weird place.
I remember one of my biggest takes too was I was doing stand up on Conan O'Brien
on his head.
and I was doing
Yeah.
Conan and I was at the Comedy Cellar and I was doing
Yeah.
Conan the next day. And they were like, "Do you want to go run your set?" And I'm like, "No, it's good. It's tight." And they're like, "No, you should run your set." All these comics. Mark Cohen was like, "No, you should run your set." And I'm like, "No, it's fine." And they're like, "No," they're yelling at me. So I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'll do it." So when you run a TV set, you can't really interact with the crowd. You just have to like stick to your time. So I go up and it's dead. So I'm bombing horribly. And I've got to do this set on TV the next day.
All your confidence goes out the window.
Yeah.
All of it goes out the window. So I snap at the crowd and I go, "None of this is funny. None of this. I'm doing this on TV tomorrow." And they go, "Nope, it's not funny.
I
This
wouldn't.
sucks." And I was like, "Fuck you." And I just walked off stage and I went upstairs in the restaurant with all the comics. They were all laughing. And I was like, "Oh, real funny, guys." And they're like, "That was amazing. You just totally ate shit." And I was like, "Yeah, great."
That's their help.
Yeah, it's like
I know. When
comics
you get
are
your
so
set,
brutal.
when you get your set to where you like it, it's almost like I don't even want to trifle with it. I just want to. I know it. I just want to go do it. And they're like, "Go do it again." You're like, I can't. I don't want any difference of what's going on right now.
Yeah, I don't want to trifle with anything.
I don't want to trifle with shit, dude.
God, I haven't heard. Oh, thumbs up, David. You got a thumbs up for trifle.
Oh, thanks, Dana.
But isn't it in my?
Dana, can you see
Uh-oh.
them? There you go.
Well, I'm just seeing fireworks behind me.
Fireworks.
Right now.
It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to talk about bench warmers because everyone asks me about bench warmers all the time. So you started writing. You're starting with Sandler. You meet Sandler. Somehow you're writing bench warmers with. Was it you and Covert or you and Sandler? Who wrote that?
Sandler called me. I remember I was in Nashville and I was doing a gig and he called me.
Hey, pal.
I was in my hotel room and he was like, "Hey, I thought I sold an idea to Sony." And I'm like, "What is it?" He goes, "It's called, or he didn't have a title yet, but he's like, it's 3 Little Leaguers, whatever." And he gave me the premise. He's like, "I want you to write it." And I'm like, "Okay." So me and Covert wrote it and then Sandler jumped in. And I remember I had a voicemail from you, David, and you said, "I've read a ton of scripts. I've had a lot of people write roles for me. So we wrote it for you in mind." And you said, "I've rarely seen somebody write something this perfect for me."
Oh, great. Yeah. I remember loving bench warmers. And
it's great. You know David's voice. That's perfect. I mean, it's a great way to write. Like, okay, David's character is going to talk like this and say this because you kind of can just process.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I just knew his sarcasm just from watching him for years. You know what I mean?
And was it me and Rob in mind? We just didn't know that third one. I don't think
it was you and Rob, and then we couldn't peg the third one, and then we got John Heater, which was great. John was amazing.
John, I just saw an SNL
Napoleon
monologue.
Dynamite, everybody.
Yeah,
he did Dana. We should have him on because he's a great dude, and he also did a pretty funny monologue when I didn't know he hosted SNL. And a great monologue I saw yesterday on my Twitter.
I didn't know he hosted SNL.
Yeah, isn't that funny? And everyone in the audience, he goes, a lot of people say, he wasn't doing Napoleon, but he's like, a lot of people say that, I stole some of these characters from back home, but these are just original characters. Then he goes, "Yeah, I have a question." He goes, "Oh, hey, Rick." And this guy in the audience stands up dressed exactly like Napoleon Dynamite. He goes, "I think you stole it from me." And he goes, "No, it has nothing to do with anyone I've ever met." And then Bill Hader, not Bill Hader, but God damn it. The
Bill
other
Simmons.
one comes. No, Joe Biden.
Bill
I think, let's
Cosby?
say. Was he a cast member?
Just look at the pill and the lady and put the pill. Go ahead.
I know. Everyone stands up as a cast member from Napoleon Dynamite. Anyway, who gives a fat fuck? I saw it. I laughed at it. John Heater was fun. I think there was a chance of using someone else. I feel like, this sounds like a lie, I saw Napoleon Dynamite the first half, and I alerted Sandler and the squad and going, I don't know who we have. This guy's funny. He might be weird, but I have no say in this. I'm just saying I like him. And then I think it's everyone sort of heard about the movie and he came in, and remember we were trying to get him to do Napoleon Dynamite the whole goddamn movie, which is so rude. But
I was going to say that. So for people listening, David and I nonstop would do Napoleon Dynamite to John Heater. And
Yeah.
he'd be like, all right, you guys,
I get it. Gosh.
all right, let's
And
go to
we-
lunch.
Like when people say, like when I say you lost your, I mean, these lines still make me laugh. I didn't write probably any of them.
No.
You just lost your membership at Video Spot. And he goes, dang it. Just
And
to
that
get him to
sounds
say
a
it like Napoleon Dynamite or a little bit, we all would like go, wow, it's so
I can
funny."
be a fan of someone just based on one line. And I think I saw that movie 6 times because all the kids in the neighborhood wanted to see it and
Yeah.
cousins and everybody. But when they on the bus, I think the little girl goes, what are you going to do today, Napoleon? He goes, whatever I want. Gosh.
It's so stupid.
The comedy
so-
like that where it's inexplicable, there's no actual joke.
Yeah.
It's rhythmic and bizarre. It
Yeah.
really just laughs. Any
Should
young
crack
person right now has not seen Napoleon Dynamite
We'll
or
get 'em
old
on here.
person. Just see it. It grows on you. First few minutes, you're like, what am I watching?
I think it's
But-
perfect. I've seen it
Yeah.
probably 100 times.
Yeah.
I could probably
Yeah.
quote
Crack
that
it.
entire movie.
And then back to benchwarmers anyway. So
Well,
anyway,
you know what-
benchwarmers. Go ahead.
No, I was saying one of my other favorite moments, David. I don't know if you remember this. We were in Vegas. You're doing the Mirage, and John Heater came with his wife.
Mhm.
And so John Heater's Mormon, so they don't drink alcohol. So David and I were drinking. We're at the bar,
Of course.
and we're like, "Hey, John, why don't you have a drink?" And he goes, "I can't. You guys know that." We're like, "Yeah, but you could have one."
Get off
And he's
my
like,
back.
"No, I can't. You know I can't." I think he ordered a glass of milk or something. And we were like, "Yeah, but you could do like one shot." And he's like, "No, you guys." And I remember his wife. His wife goes, but John, we could maybe have one, right? And he got so mad. He was like, "No, we can't. You know that." He was so
You were going to
mad.
get a little bit of soaking action tonight, but not now.
What did he think you were going to get a funnel and hold him down with a funnel?
I
and
know.
like,
We're
"Hey,
such
like a
losers
nicka."
Yeah.
for doing that to him. But I remember there's another funny joke that you gave me when the catcher goes, "You're still out. You're still fat."
Yeah.
God, I can't remember.
Yeah,
I go, "You're a good catcher of donuts in your mouth." Great.
Yeah.
One of the catchers was Jack Nicholson's kid, Ray, who was a stud, who is actively being a stud right now and looks
Ray was
cool.
great. So Patrick Schwarzenegger was in it.
Patrick Schwarzenegger was in it. Dan Patrick was probably in it, right?
I don't know. Was he?
All
Yeah,
of
he
Sandler's
was.
squadron. And
Yeah, he was.
super fun to shoot in the valley of LA. I wish we could shoot another movie. That was such a blast that summer.
I wanted to do Benchwarmers too. I told you that. I had conceived the
yeah.
whole thing. It was going to be like Bad News Bears 2, where we go to Japan. And I had a whole thing mapped out. I told you and Rob and John, and
Yeah.
everybody was on board. And then we lost the rights to Benchwarmers.
And then they made a Benchwarmers
they
too,
made
which
some,
was
I don't know, some nonsense.
yeah.
So
it
Happy
got-
Madison didn't own Benchwarmers? Someone else took it away?
something happened. They sold the name.
I can't remember
Mm.
what happened, but
Oh.
yeah, but
Sony,
we lost it. But yeah,
because Lovitz, I still think Lovitz was very funny in that. And
Lovitz is another one where he doesn't want to do Lovitz. So it's like John Heater, where it's like, just do like your voice. And like when we were doing Benchwarmers, I remember Lovitz would like fight about, like Sandler would be like, "No, just deliver it like John Lovitz." He's like, "I don't want to do John Lovitz. I don't want to do
I have
that voice.
range.
I'm going to do a whole nother character." Sandler was like, "Are you fucking dumb? No, he wrote it for you in your voice. Like, just
Yes.
deliver the
the
goddamn
way you
line."
picture it. Yeah.
I know.
I am not John Lovitz
I know.
anymore.
He thinks he's Benicio del Toro doing like a
I'm
whispery
Daniel
voice.
Gay Lewis.
What
I
about
know,
Reno
John's-
911, another monster hit? Reno, I still see clips from that. The good thing about the internet,
I
there's
became a
there's not
couple
one good thing.
memes, David. It's not easy.
Listen, I became a national phenomenon, but
I'm a treasure.
Terry, Dana, you would never have seen this because no one really did.
Reno
but
911, of
Yeah.
course.
it was
Yeah, of
sort
That
course
was
he
another
did.
one,
nothing.
David.
one of those quirky, funny
Swarty on roller skates.
shows.
A lot of ad libbing, I would guess.
It was
A lot of
all
funny
ad-libbed.
people in it. It was
The movie
sound
was
like-
ad libbed. I remember they gave me the script for the movie, and
3
it was like
pages.
15 pages. And I go, "What is this?" And it was all locations. There was no dialogue.
You're in a bowling alley. Go.
Yeah,
That's like a dream.
Terry
That's a
skates
dream
up.
part, right?
Yeah, it was amazing.
To not have to repeat lines all day. You do 3 masters at 7 a.m. and by 6 o'clock that night at your close-up. And if you miss a word, the script supervisor goes, you said your elbow was out and you said the before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if every take it's a real live take, no
It's
wonder it's
fucking
so
fun.
funny.
Well, that's like Curb. Those kind of things where you can. It's hard for the editor, but if you can pick the right shit out. I saw some Bridesmaids, bloopers, and you're like, God, some of these are as good. You just don't know. It's Sophie's Choice. You go, this is the one that's going in the movie for all of time, and there's one just as good that no one will ever see. So you pick the take, and you got to live with it, and that's hard because you sit there and go, that's good for this reason. That's good for this reason. What joke? I mean, you never know.
Well, also we would try to make it. I mean, especially me. I would try to say the most insane things to break the other cast members and make them laugh.
Yeah.
So my character was so outlandish. So I was just trying to come up with just
Such a
pure insanity.
It's like Wrong Missy, where Lauren had such a great fun part where I was
She
sort of
was
the straight
amazing.
man. And then when you're insane like that, you can really say anything. And when we're at a date and she's like, quit trying to fuck me across the room to some tough guy. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, so every take, they'd be like, do this one a little drunker. You know what? Do this one a little sexier. No, do this one a little more insane. And it just turns out to where that was another example of there was Wrong Missy was such a fun movie that worked out for us all. Nick was in it with us. And, but there's so
I
many
did
takes
very
where you
well
go,
in it, David. I did.
You
very
did great.
well.
You're my buddy in it. We're buddies from Portland.
We're pals.
And, yeah.
You always
Nick,
did.
Nick
you
didn't
always
want to
deliver.
shave his beard, by the way, Dana. Just so you
What'd
know.
you say, Dana?
I said Nick is always funny. I
Thank
don't
you.
think I've ever seen you not funny. I remember what was the one Sandler did with Jennifer Aniston?
Just go with it.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
go with it.
Were you in that one too? I mean, or there was every time you come in, you're like doing
Yeah.
something so
Turn the
insane.
channel.
I assume it's like your own little ecosystem you sort of invented.
I'm just a crazy person. Yeah, I was the guy I played part German, and I
Yes.
resuscitated the sheep.
That's right.
And I was like, oh, it's a sheep. I remember Sandler called me. I remember exactly where I was. I was at Baby Blues Barbecue in Venice. And
Mhm.
Sandler calls me and he goes, hey, what are you doing? And I go, I'm having dinner. Why? What's up? And he goes, can you do a German accent? And I go, what, like this? Like, go to some bar, have some food? And he goes, okay, perfect. Call you tomorrow. So then he hangs up the phone and he calls me. He goes, we're doing a movie in Hawaii. You, me, and Aniston. You're playing a half German dude. And I was like, what
How
the
fun.
hell? It was like the most Sandler. like,
What a blast.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
If there's a whisper that he might have something going, then it's always like confirmed, basically. Hey, I might need you for this. Would you want to do
Dana,
something
what did
like,
we first do together? Was it Jack and Jill?
Yeah, I think
Jack
so.
and Jill?
Was that when he played like the puppeteer? Or what was
Yeah. And Regis Philbin was in that.
it? Yes,
with us.
that's right.
Yeah, I did a
Anyway, you ready for
puppeteer
this?
weirdo or something. It was like a cameo. I mean, I don't know. What did you play in Jack and Jill?
Yeah.
I played like his coworker.
We're all in
Okay.
Jack and Jill.
Everybody.
Yeah.
David, were you in Jack and Jill?
I was a girl in Jack and Jill.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I made out with Al Pacino.
Look, I've only been in 2 Sandler movies trying to give an assist and help out.
Sandy
One
Wernick.
was Little Nicky and one was Jack and Jill. They were 10 years apart and they underperformed, and not that they weren't funny. And so I was a jinx to the Tappy Madison.
I think Jack and Jill is so funny.
I remember I left
That's such
the
a
Totally.
sleeper.
I left the goddamn premiere of Jack and Jill, and I was like, I may be wrong. This is gonna make $100 million. And I did the same thing with That's My Boy. I was like, I laughed the whole time. I'm like, am I don't know. I still think it's
That's
I
My
still
Boy
think,
is
oh,
phenomenal.
It's fucking hilarious. It's so rough. I like when he plays dirty, R-rated. It's
When the comedian, when you get a sense that the person on screen is having so much fun, like Sandler's commitment to the Jill character and how much he enjoyed doing that, it was just bouncing off the screen. So who knows why things are hits, fellas? What was the biggest hit you were ever in, Nick? Would it?
Grown Ups.
Not Bucky Larson. God bless Bucky Larson. That's one of my favorites.
God
I
bless.
don't know. Probably Just Go With It or maybe Click.
What about Grown Ups 2, dummy?
Grown Ups 2, yeah, it's another one.
Yeah, come on, fool.
But I would say the biggest one that didn't do well at all in the theater, but Grandma's Boy.
Oh,
was
yeah.
huge. That became just
Why are we
massive.
talking about Grandma's Boy yet?
Just kept going and going and going, right?
It made it like, I knew when we were writing it, I was like, oh, this movie is so bonkers weird. It's not, I don't know how they're going to market it. Like, I knew it was not going to do well, but I knew when it hit DVD that it was going to be explosive. And it was. It like made like as much as Titanic on like DVD. It was like insane.
Yeah,
Really?
that's one. I had one scene in it, Dana, again, and I heard about this to this day. I mean, Grandma's Boy, if you get a scene or you're just in a movie like that just, they used to grind. That's what happened with Joe Dirt, Dickie Roberts, when you do them and they go to DVD, they do pretty good in the theater, and then you hit DVD and it just explodes and they make so much money off them. And then they go to HBO, then they go here. So someone is making money. It's not us. But in a related story, one time, little Nikki, this Nikki and I were at lunch. I think Nick will remember this. There's two things happen. We're at La Scala, like two old women, and we're having lunch. This is way back. And because, do you remember, two things happened. One, you had a residual check for writing Benchwarmers, and it was so big. I was like, holy shit, dude. And you had it in your hand. I won't say how much. And then I remember
27,000.
And then, don't try to do this. I know what you're doing. And then, and Heath Ledger died. We heard it at lunch. Do you remember this?
I vaguely do.
Yeah. Look at your diary. It's in there.
Look at my diarrhea.
We heard that, and we were both a little thrown because I think we both obviously knew of him, but had seen him out. And I remember I barely knew him, and I had his phone number in my phone, but I didn't ever call him or talk to him. But I remember just talking to him one night, and then I thought, oh, how weird. And then I remember it was even worse because you were there for some reason, and that made it worse.
I was very sad. I never knew Heath, but I was a big fan.
I was sad, and then you make me sad, and so it was all sad.
This is a little off topic, but it's kind of interesting to me that Heath Ledger, his Joker kind of broke the whole form.
Yeah, oh yeah.
With the lip and everything, and now Joaquin Phoenix does it. I don't know where the next thing to do is have Joker back.
How do you
with
make it
lipstick? But
yeah,
the lipstick's like this, then it's a weirdo. But
the next
could a
Joker
weirdo
should
have
just
regular, really well groomed lipstick.
He should look like the Bachelor. Just go back to being the normal Joker. I'm the normal guy.
Because where's it going?
I think the next incarnation is Rob Schneider as the Joker.
As the poker. He'll poke you until you get irritated.
Come on, come in my cave.
He comes into
that would be
he comes
like
up to
Penguin.
Batman and throws fucking magnesium pills at him.
Vaccinates
Take these.
everybody.
He vaccinates everybody. No, he doesn't like vaccination.
No,
he doesn't like.
He doesn't like. Oh, let me just say, I met. This is a random segue, but I remember going back to the Aspen Comedy Festival. It was the only time I met Chris Farley, and I remember Dana. You've been to Aspen, right? Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, and I was there, and I've been other times. Yeah,
and but the altitude is really brutal. So I was 19 years old, and I remember I was having trouble breathing, like even like walking up just a couple stairs. I was having trouble. And I was 19. I was in good shape, and I remember very vividly walking home from a gig to the hotel, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I just heard like a roar screaming down the street.
Bigfoot.
And I'm like, what is that? And I look down the street, and it's Farley, shirtless. It's like 10 degrees, and he's got a cigarette in his mouth, and he's doing cartwheels down the snow with his entourage. I think Johnny was there, his brother.
Clown-tourage of idiots. Yeah.
Total clown-tourage.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that. Farley was what, 450 pounds? And he's doing cartwheels and chain smoke.
Very agile.
Down the street. And I'll never forget the roar that just echoed. Yeah. Aspen's a small town. It's pretty contained. So it just was thunderous, like throughout the whole place. It was like crazy.
Nick, where was the gig you just did where you got altitude poisoning and you got sick? Dana, this is sad.
Beaver Creek. Nice little town.
Nick wasn't feeling well, and he was doing stand-up, and he tried to push through his show,
It was 9,000 feet altitude, and I took an edible. Like I'm the first person to do that in Colorado. So I had a couple cocktails.
9,000? Seriously? Hold on a second.
9,000 feet.
The people just live at 9,000 feet. They must all be distance runners or something.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
That's really high. So yeah.
And I totally brain farted on stage, and then it ended up on TMZ, and they like took me off stage. It was like a total mess, but it wasn't bad. I didn't like pull like some Michael Richards thing where I started.
No, it was more of a Biden.
Mind.
No, easy on that. Michael Richards.
Yeah.
No, you just
I don't say. Some words.
Didactic or facetious.
So when you have that and you got the altitude, you got the edible in you, and it's not happening, what is the back of your head? What are you saying to yourself internally?
Abort mission.
I am having a trouble. I should get off stage, or is it just sort of a slow motion?
No, I could have figured it out. I was just a space cadet. But
they weren't being very patient.
Yeah, it was just a total non-story. But
it's funny in this day and age.
Well, it made national news. It was like,
yeah,
it made Yahoo, again, TMZ, like CNN, USA Today called me for a comment. I was like, what?
Nick.
We'll be back with more stories about Ukraine. But first, out of Beaverton, Colorado, a comedian goes off stage 20 minutes early. We'll be right back.
Yeah. That's the best quote is like, Nick's like, I was in altitude. I take gummies and shrooms, guys. What are you worried about? And everyone's like, yeah, Nick. I'm like, they're applauding this behavior? Yeah, they're
applauding this behavior.
And the next weekend he sells out. This is the classic things that happen.
Oh, then I just ripped it. And then I did Aspen right after Beaver Creek. It had 2 sold out shows. And people threw edibles at me on stage. The stage was literally covered in edibles. The stage.
You're like, guys, scrape. I can't do all these tonight, but I'll pace them out.
People love it's a human story, I mean, they do love talk about authenticity and stuff. And then would you talk about it, make jokes, and they throw edible. I mean, then it's like,
Yeah, I was very self-effacing about it. I mean, I talked about it on stage for a while. But
there was a rumor that you ate a bowl of your own diarrhea, and I was like, no, I don't. Maybe.
No, I snorted it. That's where you're wrong.
Snort the pee. Hang on, Nick. Before you go, let's look. First of all, let me see what else I got.
I have a question for you. Like randomly at airports and stuff, when people come up to you and maybe some more obscure part of your career, what makes you happy? Like people come up and go, Bucky Larson's one of my favorite films, or just random things from your specials, or what do they say to you when they approach you? Fans.
I love it. My fans are so awesome, and I'll like hang with everybody. David always gets annoyed by it, but like I'll take photos with anybody. I'll get a drink with anybody. Like I just have a blast. So if people like Bucky Larson, because Bucky Larson got 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's up. I think it's impossible. Up to 3%.
Fuck yeah!
But it's a phenomenal movie. So that one I always love. But like obscure ones like my character and like That's My Boy. Like my random stand-up jokes. If somebody just pulls something from, I've been doing stand-up for 30 years. So it's like if somebody throws out like a joke from 30 years ago, like I'll be like, whoa, like I get so fired up.
I have a good one, but it's on Zoom.
That's great.
I can't do one of my favorite jokes here because it's Zoom. It's very physical. I need to take off my clothes for it. But
Dana, what do you get approached for the most?
Oh, okay,
the most, it's either, I have a joke for this one. Hey, dude, George Bush Sr. And I go, not gonna do it. That's all one of those.
Killer, beginning, classic. Middle, end, and you're out of there.
Hans and Franz, Church Lady, Garth, all that stuff. But once in a while, people will come up to me and go, oh, my friends, every month we talk about skinheads from Maine, which was a sketch that Stephen Colbert and I did on the ill-fated Dana Carvey show. Where,
oh, wow.
It was a flight of fancy. Why are racists always Southern guys? Couldn't they be from New Hampshire or something? So it was like, well, it's like, what you doing there? Well, I'm whittling a hate stick for beating Spaniards. So it's all that Petridge Farm type guys, but they're complete racists.
Right.
So the specificity of that and the complete non sequitur of someone bringing that up to me is great. I like that. Chopping broccoli, I get a lot too.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, but I mean, all time. Garth is one of my Wayne's World. I can quote start to finish. I still will just randomly just pop into Garth and be like, "I love you, Dream Woman." And then when you're playing the drum set, the guy goes, "That was amazing, dude," and you just go, I like to play.
That's right.
It's
You got
so
it.
good.
See, that makes me happy.
got
Any
it.
kind of line that doesn't really have a punchline, that it just exists, it can keep continuing to be funny. If someone says, "Thanks, I like to play,"
Those are the kind that don't
and
kill
the
at
rhythm
read
of
through,
that.
and then they kill in longevity of a movie where you say, these are our 3 big jokes, and then over time those get on the back burner.
It's always
and
the
these weird
throwaways.
lines come out. Yeah, throwaways
It's
come
the
out.
throwaway, the quirky ones. You know,
Yeah.
if you're gonna spew into this.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
a great one.
just a little.
Spew.
But the rhythm of it, sometimes I would lose it. Just I'd start sounding more like a regular stoner dude. But the whole key is that guy talking like this, those sort of rhythms. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could do it. I could do it. You know, that part is infectious to me. But anyway, thanks for being my guest today. Let's talk
Yeah.
more about me.
Well, wait, one thing, side note, is that I would get in arguments with Sandler about it because he never did DVD extras or outtakes.
Yeah.
And I was always like, we have so much fun filming. And I'm like, dude, there's so much great material here for a DVD.
Everyone
and he's
wants them at the end.
and he goes, yeah, no, nobody, everybody else does that. He's like, I don't want to do it. And I was just so bummed because people would love it. Because like,
I agree with you.
Sandler and I
tried
crack
to.
up all the time.
Yeah, he doesn't really like you, but
David,
so
it's not true, David. He's my best friend.
oh, that's
He's
funny
my
because
best
we were
friend.
just laughing about you the other
Peter
day.
Sellers, they'd have to shut down the set. I mean, they would literally, he could not keep a straight face. They just go home. At the end of being there, they have outtakes of Peter Sellers, and he just can't
really?
hold it together. Yeah, he was notorious. Hours and hours could not get one take.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah, look at just go on YouTube. Being there, Peter Sellers outtakes. It's at the end of the movie, but it's fascinating. Really, a guy that brilliant. I love that stuff. I mean, recently on Saturday Night Live, they had the Beavis and Butthead sketch where everybody broke basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that.
And Heidi Gardner, which I talked to Lord about it, and she wasn't ready for because Mikey Day had escalated the makeup, so she wasn't prepared for it. So
Smart.
her looking and not even getting the giggles and trying to stop, look, and then
Just start
completely
laughing.
burst out laughing. It was an irresistible laugh for me at home. I
Yeah.
was like just losing it all, completely no pretense, like trying to hold it.
Yeah, that was
So-
really funny. Mikey Day is hilarious, by the way. I used to watch him before when he was doing sketches on like Funny or Die and stuff. He's such a talent. Really
and a great writer as well.
Yeah,
Great writer.
really brilliant.
Yeah.
Nick, say the name of your special again and say the tour so we get it out there for everyone.
July 18th, YouTube, Make Joke from Face is the special.
Okay.
And then in the fall is Toilet Head, nickswartzen.net.
You have the best
Nick
names.
Swartzen.net.
Just
you
those
said?
two are the best names.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Make
it's
joke from face.
Well, it's like seriously who farted. I remember when I was meeting with Comedy Central and that was my first hour special. And they're like, what do you want to call it? And I go, seriously, who farted? And they're like, oh, that's funny. But seriously, what do you want to call it? They didn't believe me.
Exactly.
And I was like, seriously, who farted? And they're like, oh, you're serious. That's what you want to call the name of your special?
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't take myself seriously. Like when comedians take themselves seriously or try to make like a cool name for a special or try to sound
Yeah.
cool, it's just like,
So
get over
heavy.
yourself.
What's interesting about names like that is that eventually at some production meeting, maybe for some other thing, they'll refer to Toilet Head casually. Well, we were shooting Toilet Head in San Jose, and when we shot Toilet Head,
Right.
Nick wanted 6 cameras. We had 5, I believe, for Toilet Head. Was it 5 for Toilet Head? Yeah. So that'll happen, and that joke lives on. As soon as people refer to it in a serious
we
way,
did
then the joke is
SWF.
complete.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Well, that's why
That's-
when I thought of seriously who farted, I was hoping so bad to get nominated for a Grammy for the
Oh,
album
God.
because I just wanted someone to say that on stage.
Yeah.
Trevor Noah.
And,
Seriously, who farted?
And next up, the nominees are Nick Swartzen. Seriously, who farted? And then the crowd would be like, "What? What is it?
Why?
Are they asking somebody who farted?"
And
or is
Dua
it-
Lipa is like, yeah, talking to me.
And eventually it'll be truncated. I was shooting Farted. I directed Farted. And I was on Seriously. Seriously, who farted? I'm trying to think, what's the funniest accent to say that? Seriously, who farted?
Maybe it's Garth.
Nick Swartzen. Seriously, who farted?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of
Right there.
people farted on Wayne's World
Seriously, who
during the
farted?
shooting. All right, Dana. What's your name, Nick? Thank you, Nick.
Nick Swartzen, yes, thanks
Nick
for having
Swartzen,
me.
Miss
one
you.
of the funniest guys in America. Go watch his show. Watch us.
Make joke from face.
Make joke from face. That's his. And
the
his
tour,
Toilet Head, coming to a town near you. He will not be at Beaver Creek, Colorado on this particular tour, but soon he'll be at
He'll be back and sell
12,000
out for
feet.
sure.
He's playing the Swiss Alps at 14,000 feet.
My next special, I want to do 90,000 feet.
Yeah.
And take
Dude,
a
from the
bunch of
space
mushrooms.
From the space station.
All right, I love you guys.
All right, bye,
you're two of
guys.
my favorite people ever. You're hilarious.
Love you, Nick. Thanks for coming on.
Namaste.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all this stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss Berman of Odyssey, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman.